Family, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I just changed something in the I know there's a little delay. No sound from the live stream. Gee, who's this texting me? Da 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 da. Can y'all hear me yet? Can y'all hear me yet? Please let me know if you can hear me. Now we can. You good? Okay, I hear you now. All right. So you hear me now? All right. Sound is back. We hear you. I can hear you. We hear you now. Now it's good. No, okay, I can hear you now. All right. Cool. Cool. Yeah, this is the late night. I still gotta hook up. Don't be picky, y'all. We all gotta get up bright and early for the Phil Valentine lecture tomorrow. We want to bring y'all something. They said, why didn't they check? Because we ain't have time to check. That's why. Turn it up louder. Turn up. Man, I turn this thing up. And check, check, check. See, it's like, I hear it fine on my computer. On my computer, yeah. Unless I hook it up to the speakers, yeah. Your shit go louder? Can the volume go up some? Yeah, I'm trying to figure. This is the midnight volume, y'all. Turn it up, put on headphones. I can hear it on my computer. Let me mic them up. Uh Oh snap! Gotta move up. Yeah. Gotta move up.
What we testing right now? What's going on, people? KT the Arch Degree in the house right now. We just warming up. About to give y'all just a little bit to think about. Just a little bit to think about. Oh, all right. So I'm gonna go right in. So I just got done doing a real powerful lecture down in Dallas called The Vegan Gene. The vegan gene, the vegan gene. You're here in our hearts. You're here in spirit. What are you talking about? You're here right now. You know what I mean? But what is the vegan gene? Well, Sabi had this saying. He would always say, food gene consistency. He was like, everybody else came over here with their food. We didn't come with our food. He was like, our food needs to be consistent with our genetics. So I'm like, we got to have more proof these days with everything, right? It don't matter what people have proven. It don't matter what people have done time and time again. None of that matter because we got Google and we got smartphones. Everything got to be reaffirmed. You got to cite your sources. You know what I'm saying? You got to prove all this stuff. So I was like, people are still arguing the whole meat eating thing. Like they still on that. And I'm like, it's cool if you want to like we just did we just did the apple cider vinegar boy, right? Oh, they mad. Oh, they mad at me right now. Oh, they don't like me right now. Cause I told them to stop drinking vinegar. Okay? I'm just saying. Because but I had to tell people the truth. Because if you need to do something quick to get rid of a problem, that's one thing. But when you do something for long periods of time, it's totally different. And see, that's the thing with the meat eaters. See, It's one thing when people want to eat blood and flesh and they want to use health and nutrition as the reason why they doing it. You know? We good? Keep going. They still said they can't hear me? We good. So it's just one person? Can y'all hear me? Can everybody respond? Can y'all hear me clearly? Yeah. Right. Keep going, keep going. All right, so it's one thing for you to do something temporarily based on circumstance. It's another thing to do what you're designed to do.
Blue, mic this up.
Those are two different things. So when people who eat flesh want to use flesh and meat as a means for nutrition, that's when it becomes a problem. Because then I'm like, okay, well, give me your point. Tell me what you mean by that. So it's always, you know, my grandma lived till she was 140.
Hey, Granny.
She ate pork every day of her life.
Yes, she did.
Blue, make sure it's as close to you as possible.
My uncle, he smoked cigarettes. He drunk. He stayed alive till he was 100.
He smoked crack, and he lived.
And he lived. He lived, right? But see, what you don't think about
I'm not laughing at Unc, by the way.
is the selfishness involved in that. What's the selfishness? Well, we know about epigenetics right now. Epi meaning like above, beyond. So like how environment, diet, current factors affect your genetics and what genes are expressed.
KT.
Yep.
Mic yourself, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, family, we situated here. We getting more and more situated. Be patient with us. We got a big lecture coming up tomorrow with Dr. Phil Valentine. Unfortunately, it will not get. Turn that fucking mic up, bozo. We can't hear you.
Not bozo. I'm a bozo.
Oh, man, this guy is
going hard, man. He's going hard.
God
bro,
damn.
Bozo,
obviously, this is as
though.
loud as it's going to get, family.
God damn.
Bozo, though.
Bozo.
Bozo the clown up in here, man.
If he watching me at 1 a.m, who's the bozo? If it's Saturday, check this out. Hold up. It's Saturday night. This is a grown man over 18.
We supposed to set when the miles go back. We did that yet?
2 a.m.
What, tonight? For real?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I
daylight
didn't even know.
savings.
You know, they said some places in the world don't even do daylight savings? Maybe that's some flat earth shit we don't know about, y'all. Huh? Maybe. That might be some flat earth shit.
It's that time. Everybody
But,
got to get on the same accord.
Just talk as loud as you, because you hear I'm a little louder.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, they hear you, but just
They hear
when you talk loud. So
Project.
for those that
For the bozo haters out there. For the bozo haters, man.
man, we gonna hey family. Okay, repay. Yeah, sister. Listen to Sharia Johnson. She says, refresh your page, family. I can hear now.
Refresh.
Bozo.
George Macon says, F that clown, Brother Rich. I think I seen a brother named George Macon on Sonetta channel.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
That's the brother?
George Macon.
All right,
Yeah.
so shout out to George Macon. I thought your name was familiar. Blue said, you know, you a cool brother. Shout out to George Macon. I seen you on. Shout out to Brother Sonetta.
Yeah, shout out to Sai.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Sana. I can hear you clearly. Yeah, so the sound is good now, so we good.
I
So
was
we
with Baba earlier in Brownsville. Shout out to Brother Seville. Shout out to Baba. Legend.
yeah, so I don't want to have this too loud, and We have echo and shit.
Yeah, we good, man.
All right, so we got that. All I need now is to hook up this. I'm gonna let these brothers talk, family. I'm gonna try to have a calling situation tonight. I'm gonna let the brothers build first, but we just got to situate it. I'm gonna let the brothers start out with. Listen, KT Blue Pill. I mean, people call me scared to death, and I'm not trying to get at nobody just because they're worried. I understand you might be worried because you have family, you have children, and you want to protect. As a man, you want to protect your family. That's what we're supposed to do. People really got scared with this EMP. What does EMP stand for?
Electromagnetic pulse.
This electromagnetic pulse thing scared the shit out of people. I think the Earth was supposed to end at least 4 times this year. Yeah. September 23rd, Nibiru was going to kill us. Yeah. The eclipse was going to kill us. The EMP was going to destroy us. And I think there was one other event. I can't remember. We missing something. This end of the world scenario gets the people riled up. It gets a lot of attention from the people.
It gets them moving.
Talk to me about this EMP thing and just shit. Well, I mean, what should we do? I got to donate. Oh, thanks, man. $2. Thank you, Bob Marley.
So,
go ahead, talk, family.
So apparently, a sister got wind of some information that was on the Department of Defense website.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, that stated that there was going to be an exercise that was going to be initiated November 4th through 6th, in which a electromagnetic pulse was going to be generated, and in that happening was going to shut down the whole electrical grid.
Right.
In the States. Now, we're not talking just blackout, you know, and then like the next day your power come back on. We talking about anything that has electricity in it don't work, except for us, of course. We run off electric.
How about
so
that?
Yeah, we be good. But the car, like your car, even though you've charged your phone and your phone was charged up, not working. You know, like all and everything, every electronic device or anything that uses electricity ain't working. Yeah, good. Yeah, so she got word and she got on Facebook Live and decided to kind of give everybody the heads up. She was like, yo, I got word of this, it's real. It's on the website. Go check the website. It's going down. You know, go get your water. Go stock up. Do what you got to do. You know, because they actually told us. Now they're not coming on the news and everything, but they still telling us.
They had a press release, right?
Yeah, they had a press release for it. So y'all prepare. You know. Now with further research, they actually did make an announcement that they was going to be putting out an EMP, but it was actually going to be a simulation.
Yo, just for tonight, just hold it like it's a mic.
Okay.
All right. Just for
Cool.
me, so it can be as loud as possible.
Cool.
Check.
Better.
He ain't gonna know yet because it got a little delay.
It got the little lag. All right.
Let's turn the volume up just a little bit.
Get a little louder up
Wifey
in here.
cool? She all right? All right.
Good. All right.
We're gonna get voluminous. You know what I'm saying? From the diaphragm. Let's go.
Let's go. So, through further study, what I ended up finding out was that they were going to be doing
EMP.
an exercise EMP.
A drill.
Yes. So to speak. But it was going to be a simulation.
Yes.
Where, what if a coronal mass ejection.
Yes.
For those who don't know what coronal mass ejection is, it is the.
Red said way better.
Okay.
Facts.
There we go. So,
yeah. What's a coronal mass ejection?
Thank you to Red Pill.
Coronal mass ejection is a phenomenon with the sun where the plasma that you see around the sun ejects electromagnetic particulates, right?
And let me ask you this. If the picture of the earth ain't real, is the picture of the corona mass ejecting, could that possibly be real? Are we looking at the sun?
Are we looking at a mirror?
Are we looking at a mirror?
So let's keep going. So
You're going to skate that?
Huh? I'm saying,
right.
He asked the question. We got to stay on topic.
Stay on topic.
We come back, because then they're going to get mad. They're going to get mad at that.
Let's go. All right.
It's supposed to just be a simulation where they want to use basic ham radios.
Right.
You
going
know,
back
like,
to
okay,
the, yeah.
what if the power goes out? What if we don't got nothing? We still have radio waves. Okay. Is the infrastructure still
Right.
stable enough for communication to be used through the radio waves? All right. That was their statement. They was like, yes, we're doing a drill. Yes, it's an EMP. Yes, it's supposed to be nationwide, but it won't technically be nationwide, and everything ain't going to get cut.
It's a simulation.
It's a simulation.
Right.
But just the circumstance alone makes you think.
What if?
What if? Okay?
Right.
Because I was just in a situation like that.
You definitely were.
Yeah. I went down. Y'all heard me talk earlier this year. I was talking about St. Croix, my home, went back and everything.
Repeat it.
You know?
They might have not heard you.
Oh, yeah. I went back home to St. Croix earlier this year. I know a lot of you heard me. I've been talking about St. Croix. Yeah, I've been talking about the electric plant.
It might be new people listening.
You know?
The bozo and them. So.
The bozo.
Yeah.
So, earlier this year,
Right.
I went back home.
Okay.
Yeah, that's them. You heard that, right? 30 years it took me to get back home from where I came from.
30 years.
You know? Went back, ended up finding one of the most powerful discoveries that anybody can find, and that is a plant that's electrical. A plant that's electrical. Now,
So if the grid shut down,
Yes.
this plant's still pumping out electricity.
electricity.
Wow.
Meaning that if you have a generator, the same way you would pour fuel in a generator, you would pour the juice of this leaf in the generator and it will go.
Wow.
So I just found out about the plant when I went down there. So when I came back to the States, did a lot of research, did a lot of studying, grew a lot of the plant, started making little batteries, 5-6 volts, you know, got digital clocks to work and things like that.
I seen you online.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
a couple things with it, did a couple presentations with it. So I was making plans to take some people down with me, right?
Right.
To do like a super workshop. You know, people been asking me about the herbs. People been asking me about the cooking.
Right.
People been asking me about all the plants. I was like, okay, I'm going to show you how to make the tonic. I'm going to show you how to make the food. I'm going to take you in the rainforest. So I created the whole dynamic. Just when I head down there to St. Croix to set up shop, I get hit by Hurricane Maria.
Not Maria. Maria.
Right?
At the same time that Rihanna had the hit song on the Maria beat?
Yes.
Wow. What a coincidence.
How that thing just come on back like that, right?
You
West
know?
Side Story. All right.
You remind me.
I'm just saying. So I'm down there and the storm starts coming in. You know, at first you like, oh, this ain't that bad. Everybody's like prepping their homes and stuff. The wind's picking up, starting to get dark. I know people in Florida, y'all know this. Y'all deal with this all the time.
They do.
When the wind started getting to the point where I was like, yo, it was 1/3 of what a Category 5 is at. 1/3 it was only 1/3 that speed at that point. Okay, this is when the shutters got shut down,
Right.
getting everything prepped.
So at 1/3, it was an issue?
It was an issue at 1/3. You hearing the whipping, the whew, the lasso, the
lashing,
the whipping, the posts.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a problem.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see it through. I'm gonna see this thing through. It's probably about 2-3 in the morning. The sound that I heard coming from outside was like Godzilla, King Kong, and Pacific Rim was brawling outside.
Right.
Do you understand?
Something clicked. I don't know if it was recording. I'm listening.
Only thing I could do was continue to chant in my mind:
Right.
walls, roof, shutters, floor, walls, roof, shutters, floor, because that was my only concern at that point.
Right. You wanted to keep the structure sound around you.
Yes.
To keep whatever was outside from coming in.
Because science was taking place. We're talking about pressurized systems. Because if any window was open, door was open, cracked, you allow air to come in, you depressurize. Now you can create a circumstance where more air wants to come in, and it could pull that thing right off. So I just wanted to make sure that everything kind of stayed vacuum, still and tight, but all the while listening to the sound. I recorded some of that sound. Every time I listen to it, it's no joke. It's no joke. So
You want to play something for the audience, or you gonna put it on the album?
well, the thing is, when I break down Ragnarok, because let's think about Ragnarok is the end of the world by water. That's what it means.
Okay, you got to tell people.
You know what I
talking
mean?
about Thor.
We're talking
Ragnarok?
about the new Thor movie, Thor
Okay.
Ragnarok. I'm going to be breaking it down on 11/11, usalivestream.com, going in on it, and I will be telling my story in regards to the whole weather situation down in St. Croix, because there was some foul play involved. Meaning, it wasn't all mama doing that. There was some weather modifications going on.
What?
Yes. Weather modification.
Brother, you sound like a flat earther conspiracy.
That's going to be the constant, right? That's going to be the constant. So I'm going to go in detail with that, but I don't want to go too far off the topic. The
All right.
topic is the EMP.
Right.
So the reason why I brought all this up was because instantly I went from power, running water, devices, and all that stuff to nothing.
Right.
Okay? Now, if I had a generator, I could still charge my phone. If I had propane gas, you know what I'm saying? I could still work the stove. However, with an EMP, nothing with a battery, nothing works. So
it completely destabilizes
destabilizes
the pulse, electronic pulsating devices.
That's
Anything
right.
that has a pulse.
that's right.
Would that be pacemakers and all of that?
Pacemakers, that's right. Now,
But
not your natural pacemaker.
That's what I'm saying.
but the
Why does it
artificial
not affect your natural pulsation of electricity?
Because we operate in 6 dimensions. We operate in different dimensions. And what I mean by that is when you look at your lipids and when you look at the proteins that make up your body, it's not just length, width, depth. Okay, you're dealing with electrochemical. You're talking about van der Waals forces and time. You got to consider all those aspects in there too. We operate on different planes, so it takes more to affect us. But these devices, they get shut down. Now, what this does is it makes you think. It says, okay, we talk about being off the grid. We talk about being away from society. Like, are we really prepared for that? Are you ready to chart the stars and know what direction to go to?
Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? Do you know what type of herb to eat when there's no food? Do you know how to get food for yourself when the store is shut down? Do you have enough things stored up just in case all that stuff shuts down?
Just in case.
Are you prepared? Well, the people on this island, they was prepared.
Okay.
They had their generators, they had their gas, they had mad water.
Right.
They had water to wash, because you don't think about, oh man, a lot of people don't do many number 2s anymore. They go like a whole 7 days, 2 weeks without defecating. So I guess they would be all right. But for the people that are healthier, use the bathroom every day.
Natural movements.
Oh
Right.
man,
regular.
you need water for that.
Right. They call it being regular.
Being regular.
Right.
They need water.
Yeah, they need water for that.
So the thought that comes is not just the food preparation, not just the charting the stars thing, but what about understanding what the EMP is, understanding electricity? Because if you understand what an EMP is, then you'll know what a Faraday cage is.
A what?
A Faraday cage. What is a Faraday cage? Well, anybody who takes an MRI, how are they able to get those pristine images from a magnetic resonance imaging device? How do they do that? Because if the machine is so delicate and pristine to electromagnetic flux, then that means it should pick up ambient noise everywhere. The reason why it doesn't is because the actual room that the device sits in is a Faraday cage. And that prevents all excess electromagnetic radiation from interfering with the reading and the results of the machine. So that would mean, oh man, I need to understand what a Faraday cage is, because if there's ever a circumstance where EMP goes out, I can build a Faraday cage, put my electrical devices in them, and they won't be affected.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't read that on the website.
No. See, this is the thing. Drop the science, drop the alert, but we also got to be solution oriented.
Facts.
Because that Hegelian dialectic of problem response solution, like that has people running around. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you give people the solution, to the issue as well. You know what I mean? Even if you don't know it, when you present it, say, listen, if EMP is the problem, then let's talk about it. Let's talk about electromagnetic pulse. Let's talk about electricity. Let's talk about anode and cathode. Let's talk about redox reactions. Let's talk about magnetism, magnetic fields. Let's talk about my heart and my brain. What is a EKG? Like,
right.
What are all these things? Let's get a better understanding of currency, because what is the number one synonym or analogy for electricity in your home or in the device? What is it called? What is another name for electricity?
A pulse?
No, what is the name?
Energy?
Matter of fact,
Power.
there we go. The power company.
Right.
The power went out. It went out.
Right.
Is it coming back in?
Right. So what they're experiencing in Puerto Rico at this very particular moment is the results of the electrical grid being totally out.
That's right.
And all of the effects that come after that.
Yep.
So this is a controlled environment that gives you a real-time example of what it would look like or feel like or be like to be living under a condition where electricity is totally unavailable.
That's right. And this is the thing. It's like, it's not a bad thing. And let me tell you why it's not a bad thing. We're dealing with a society of non-native EMF. EMF means electromagnetic frequency. Non-native means it doesn't come from the sun. See, the sun is our source of electromagnetic radiation, specifically the visible spectrum, which represents color. That's why we have the experience that we have in our lives, is because of the color and the light that comes from the sun. When it's absent, it's night, we sleep, we rest, we utilize all the light we absorb during the day while we're sleeping to rejuvenate and heal and create our dreams. And then we wake up again the next day with like 86,400 seconds to do the whole thing again. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with non-native EMF, what ends up happening is your quantum biological system that you have, it no longer has the natural food to eat anymore. You're eating GMO, light GMO. Yeah, you didn't know there was genetically modified light, did you? Huh?
Nigga said light GMO.
Light GMO. No, check it out. So when the sun comes up early in the morning, it's red, then it's orange,
Yes,
then
it
it's
is.
yellow, then it's white, then it's yellow, then it's orange, then it's red, then it's gone.
Right.
Which means the light is obviously giving off different frequencies of light at that time, which is in nanometers. We deal with like 380 to like 740 or something like that. That's ultraviolet and infrared. We're right in between that. When the sun comes up, that energy, that power, it's cooling at that time. It's there to give us food. So when we screw into the earth, when we put all of our extremities on the ground, that's why it's called that too. What do you call it when a child gets in trouble and they're on punishment, they're
Grounded.
because they are a free radical. Their electricity is all over the place,
Right.
and you need to
Ground them.
right so that they can get themselves back together. So
Facts.
that's what we're supposed to do every morning. We're supposed to be grounded.
Grounded, right.
Okay, that's
they
usually
call
what
it
people drink in the morning is
Ground
grounds,
coffee.
right?
Ground coffee.
To-
Grounded.
so
right.
they can wake up. But that's caffeine. That's dope.
Right.
But me, we talked about that last time. All right.
Facts.
So when the sun goes throughout the day, it's giving these different frequencies. When it's giving you these different frequencies of light are telling your body what time it is. It's a clock. And based on what time it is, your body knows what work to do. Just like a corporation, a corporeal nation, a corporation, a
Right.
body. You see? But if I'm looking at my phone and the light that comes off my phone is equivalent to the sun at 1 in the afternoon, then every time my eyes absorb this intensity of light, whether it be in from this phone or computer screen or a television screen, my proteins, my hormones, my enzymes, my metabolic pathways, right, my glands, are going to see that it's 1 in the afternoon, even though it might be 2 in the morning, because that's when I'm on my phone looking at my Instagram pics. So now I'm producing things that I would normally produce at 1. Now I'm not getting sleep. Now I'm not rejuvenated. You see, when the sun goes up and when the sun goes down, and when you're up and when you're asleep, we call this circadian rhythm.
Yes, we do.
It's the beat of life, the yin-yang symbol, night and day. You were supposed to get up with the sun, okay? When was the last time you seen a squirrel in Central Park knocked out at 11 o'clock in the morning, drooling,
Never.
with nuts all around him? Like, yo, I was up all night, like, eat these acorns, son. I had some acorn, yo.
Yeah, acornitis.
Yeah,
Yo.
I'm out of it.
Yo.
Huh? Any animal for that matter.
None.
None, bruh. None. They just don't do
They
it.
up and at it.
Yes.
Survival is integral.
Circadian
right.
rhythm. My thing is, how are you ever going to properly tell the time if you don't know when to set the clock? I'm just saying, I could set my clock right now for 4:50 if I want to and start my phone from then. But guess what? It will not be in sync with everybody else's time on this planet. But when we do not sync ourselves with the sun, we become out of sync. And our circadian rhythm gets thrown off. And our body gets thrown way off. You see? So that's why I'm like, EMP, ooh, yes. Maybe the sister created an EMP by making this announcement, and through everybody being scared, it brought a certain amount of awareness,
It did.
right? Where it did shut everything down for a minute. Whatever you was doing that day, whatever you was on, it changed your thought process from that moment, at least for the next 24 hours, where you was on some other. You know, you might have been scared, you might have ran to the store and got water, you might have started studying on it, but regardless, she put an EMP out just by announcing that.
Yeah. I mean, it went viral. You know, I saw people in my inbox that I've never seen in my inbox, you know, bringing this to my attention. And when I shared it with the intent to say, look, I don't know whether this is real or not. You know, I went to the Department of Defense and I read up, you know what I'm saying? I read all through there, and I learned a lot even going over there
That's what
about
EMP,
some other
bruh.
stuff. I was
EMP,
like, oh,
EMP, bruh. Electromagnetic. She posts some people
I
up.
kind of got an idea of, you know, some of the international plays that they're trying to put in place, especially pertaining to North Korea. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Because they're maneuvering. Let's be clear.
Well, you saw the news article with that, where the same day that she made that announcement, Fox News had a story where they were talking about if a missile is shot over here, it'll get dispersed in the upper atmosphere. You won't see the flash. However, the after effects of the explosion will cause an EMP in the area on the ground. So
No,
if
I ain't see that all.
oh yeah. No, that was a story. This is a news story, like video. And they went through the whole steps of it. They was like, yeah, if it goes off and we shoot it out the sky, you ain't gonna see it blow up or anything like that. It's not gonna hurt anybody, no radiation, but it will affect all the electronic devices on the ground. So we'll have a blackout, a temporary EMP effect from the missile. So it was almost like, we're gonna give y'all an excuse. You know what I mean? So I did see that story. Now,
Right. So what I was advocating was preparation to say, look, you should have a 24 pack. You know what I'm saying? In the crib.
yes.
You know, you should have
Pounds and
pounds and grain, canned food if necessary, if that's your thing. Dog food if that's what you into.
This is when the sea vegetable game becomes important, because you can sit that all up in your pantry.
Right.
The dulse, the wakame. You just added the water. You got all the nutrients you need. You got everything.
Right. So, you know, just saying that because we live in this geographical designation, right? So the fact that we physically here in New York City might not be going through lack of power or famine or what have you. You know, Puerto Rico's not that far away.
No.
The Virgin Islands are not that far away. You feel me? And again, you know, people love to talk about their commonality with their African kinfolk and their brethren and their sisterin. There was a whole list of islands that somebody brought to my attention outside of just, you know, the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico.
Oh, yes. Most
It's mad
definitely.
islands going through it.
Our island, Antigua.
Yeah. Antigua's going through it.
You know what I mean?
You feel
Hard
me?
body,
So,
Dominica.
yeah, Dominica's going through it.
A lot of deaths with Maria and Dominica. Matter of fact, the person that was next door to me, where the power, because I ain't tell you how the pole came down. And the only reason why I didn't bust into the wall was because it got caught on the wire and it was just bouncing on the wire. The person next door to me, his family's from Dominica. He hadn't heard anything back, but a friend of his who had a family, they lost like 4 or 5 people in their nuclear, like mom, cousin, like uncle, gone. Whole island just looks like a dump site, you know?
Yeah.
Now,
And
like
this was paradise prior to that. Let's be clear.
yes, most
You know
definitely.
what I'm saying? So
That's
taking
what
that
it's supposed to
into
be.
account, you know, and I'm like, based on the fact that we're in Brooklyn, this has a high Caribbean concentration in regards to, you know, where these people's family are at. They're more than likely they're going to be in Brooklyn. So this is still on the hearts and the minds of people that are directly around us. You know what I'm saying? So if nothing else, what have we learned, you know, from these tragedies that we've had the comfort to look at, you know, from the comfort of our living rooms on the television? Uncertainty. It could be me next. You never know. And that's not out of fear. That's saying, look, if I have the opportunity to prepare, why am I not preparing? You know what I'm saying? If I have the space to store water, why is that water not there?
Water is gold.
You know what I'm saying?
Water is
If
gold.
I have empty shelves in the cupboard, why did not, you know what I'm saying, at
Fill
least
'em up.
a dozen cans of food at
Fill 'em
any
up.
given time?
Fill 'em
You know
up,
what I'm
fill 'em
saying?
up. But people aren't cooking. People aren't cooking. See, the whole concept of agriculture, gardening, cooking your food, understanding your body, it all connects. It all connects. If you don't cook food, then you're not like proactive to go to the store, go to the market, or go to anywhere to store anything like that up. Everything you're going to store is going to be things that are dependent upon that ice box, upon that refrigerator, which ain't going to work when power goes out. Like that was, do you know ice? Ice was gold in St. Croix after that hurricane hit.
It was gold in They was
Bruh,
selling it in
bruh.
Puerto Rico.
That's what I'm telling you. If you had ice, bruh, like, no, I ain't talking about bling bling. Like that ain't worth nothing when the hurricane hit. That real ice though, that melt, that was the one. You know? But see, that only matters for people that what? They got to store meat. They got to store meat. So it makes you think in antiquity when folks was not refrigerating, like what was you doing with the meat, bro? You was just salting it. You wasn't storing it for long periods of time, and you were not going out killing no animal every single day. Do y'all even understand the anatomy of us versus carnivores that eat meat? Like carnivores like wolves, do you know that they're always on their toes, bruh? Their heel and ankle is up. See, we don't think about that hind leg. That means that they're on their toe, hunched. Oh, that's like you standing hunched over like this all the time. That's why when dogs and cats ain't doing nothing, what are they doing? They're laying down. Because to stand uses a bunch of energy.
So they're always ready to prance and pounce on food. They're always...
And what type of food? Let me ask y'all this. When you think of a carnivore, a lion, a wolf, right? Are they going after the most robust, strongest buck? Or are they looking for the most frail, weak, slowest one?
The weakest, slowest.
So that means the food you deciding to eat is going to be the food that has the least amount of energy in it then. You're not going after nothing fresh. You're going after genetically the mutant.
Yeah, they ain't chasing down Usain Bolt.
No. You ain't going after Mufasa. You ain't chasing Mufasa down, bruh. You know what I'm saying? You going after the weakest link.
Yeah. Right.
That's why when we eat meat, that's what we go for. We end up going for the links, the weakest links, the chicken wings, and all that scavenger crap. Because that's the pathway you decide to go in life. But see, when you think about elephants, you know what I'm saying, gorillas and rhinos and all the herbivores in the kingdom, look at how they stand. Look at how they are. They rest. They can stand. They can sit in certain positions. You know, much different. We have a lot more in common with that. So it's like you got to look at antiquity and the fact that we was not refrigerating a bunch of stuff. We didn't have to because everything was in our environment. You see, it stays on the tree. How's it going to spoil on the tree? When you want it, pick it. When you don't, leave it there. That's your fridge.
Open air.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, ice was gold down there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about all the things you take for granted right now that you don't know is valuable. The things that you're looking at as valuable ain't going to be worth a damn thing. You know? Nothing. Do you know north, east, southwest? Do you know which side of the tree the moss grows on to know where the water comes from? Have you made your fire? You know what I'm saying? All these little things.
Basic survival skills. Boy Scout shit.
That's right.
It goes back to that.
Water testers. Get your life straw, right?
Right.
You've been talking about that forever. Shout out to King Simon.
King Simon, Eitan Edwards.
Come on, man. He been talking about the disaster preparedness forever. So it's like you don't have to be spooked in order to do this stuff. It just means, look, stock up on your water. Understand electricity a little bit more because we made the decision, a unified choice, to arrest our power to somebody else, figuratively and literally, because we do not control our grid. Okay, we do not have backup. Why don't we have backup generators? Every city should have some type of backup generator through water, through wind. Like I'm talking about with the electric plant, solar panels, they deep down in the islands too. Like I don't get why they're doing electricity the way they're doing because they got all these areas, these big areas with solar panels, and I'm like, where's that energy going? Because y'all ain't using it for the people. You see? So it's like the people, we have to stand up and we have to start getting more aware. Like you're not going to learn it all. So pick something that you're kind of connected to and just go in on that. You know, your significant other, they going to do something. Your children going to do something. Your friends going to do something. Your parents are going to do something. And then that thing comes together, you know, because it could become overwhelming.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? And only overwhelming because we're like so saturated by society where technically we're lazy, but we can't call ourselves lazy because we know we work so hard.
So hard.
But then when you think about what you're working towards, you're like, I'm working backwards. You know what I'm saying?
Hamster wheel.
So it's like, yeah, if the power went out, that would definitely be a reset button where everybody got to, like, people you couldn't stand, you're going to have to work with.
Yeah, I remember New York when the blackout hit. You know what I'm saying?
People had to cross that bridge.
They had to cross that bridge.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember the Yahudis, the Jews had to pass through our neighborhoods, and they was real humble. You know what I'm saying? They was very respectful.
Yeah.
But, you know, brothers was barbecuing, and they was offering food as well. It was a very respectful environment where, you know, you really get to see the commonalities rather than differences. Nobody was stressing their differences. Everybody was looking for commonality. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it got pitch black and they had to move through those environments, you know. And I guess our people are just so kind-hearted, you know what I'm saying, in that particular nature. They was ushering people through because they could sense the fear.
Our
You know what I mean?
nature is to love. Like, fear, we don't come in this world being scared of everything. Because by Mama being the first teacher, she teaches us love first. We come into a realm, we have no idea where we at. She grabs us up, she sticks a titty in our mouth, and we start tasting the most heavenly experience ever. Like, I don't know how many people can recall when colostrum or milk first hit their palate and went and sparked their system up. That thing probably was the first orgasm, honestly. Dopamine on fleek. You know what I'm saying? So naturally.
Right. Explain to them, you know, the audience what you mean. Colostrum fluid that comes from the breast by way of breastfeeding.
Yes, when a mother
Right.
gives
I mean,
birth, their stages, milk ain't the first thing that comes out. First they have colostrum.
we have to be mindful. Yeah. A large percentage of people probably never experienced this.
Oh, no.
For whatever reason. So.
Nah, that's true. And that's a big problem with a lot of us because we did not get breastfed. And because we did not get breastfed, we didn't get our DHA. And people don't know what DHA is. And that's a problem. That's a big problem because that's our problem. That's the reason why we've been in this rut. And as much as we love shining glory on our people and all the stuff we've done. I'm going to say that again. We always talk about all the stuff we've done. Yeah, yeah. Where's the miracle now? Where's the, like, I
spoke on that the other day.
I'm not knocking our amazing feats that we perform as a people daily. Don't get me wrong. Singers, athletes, come on, like, we get it in. But I'm talking about that superheroic, gotta be kept in a mythos for safety stuff that I haven't really seen as of recent.
Like yesterday I posted an article. They said that they found another chamber underneath the Great Pyramid. You know what I'm saying? And they're perplexed. They can't figure it out. They have this new what's the word that I'm looking for?
What, a new section inside
They have a new satellite system where they're able to they're using kind of something like neutrinos. Yeah, the scanning system. They're using neutrinos to bounce through.
They can dig deep inside the earth
without physically digging.
And all
Yeah,
that
so
stuff.
they're seeing chambers that are going down. I don't know.
Mapping it out.
The shit might go to a mentor for all I have no idea, but they don't have no idea either. They can't get there.
Right.
So I'm just theorizing about this being one of, you know, the earth's great wonders, and you know, I'm like, this argument that persists in our community, especially about who the Cometians were and who they were not. And I'm like, if you are direct descendants of these people, you know what I'm saying, and your genealogy is still intact, where are your miracles on par with something that your ancestors did thousands of years ago?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we're talking about evolution, which is a whole nother conversation, where your evidence of evolution? You know what I'm saying? Are the people any smarter than those who, if you want to exclude the aliens out of the conversation, and it was you who did it, it's your folks, right? And we're dealing with this whole quantum aspect of time being a continuum. So you're telling me the past don't exist because you are your present self and, you know, part of this future intelligence that's supposed to get us so far into our future that we outwit AI and we finally serve it to the white man, right? That's what you're telling me.
Right.
Where you niggas at?
Where you at? What
Where the fuck you at? Where's your breakthroughs? You know what I'm saying? Because you got little dudes in Nairobi and shit that's taking piss and turning it into, you know, rocket fuel and shit like that.
Right.
They going into the garbage piles and creating all sorts of electronics and technical breakthroughs. If you niggas is the shit, where's your breakthroughs?
Information is encoded in light. So you have to be a master of transmitting, decoding, breaking down light the best way you can. Now, that's where the whole chosen people thing come in, because we got melanin, right? Melanin puts things in order. It's an ordering molecule, you see? But we have another compound in our body that deals with light directly that we are very, very, like, devoid of. And that's DHA, okay? When you look at all of the animals, like the only other mammal that got their brain, you know, ratio, the ratio of the body to the brain, like us, are dolphins. See, it's not just the size of the brain that matters, it's the size of the brain in relation to the body.
Right.
Okay, and its weight and its size. Now, elephant's brain is obviously bigger than us.
Keep it to you.
You know, it's obviously bigger than us. What you say?
Keep it up right there.
Okay, it's obviously bigger than us. But in relation to its body, it's much smaller than ours. You see what I'm saying? Dolphins' ratio is greater.
Okay.
Dolphins is even greater than us. And the difference between us and dolphins is our DHA levels, yo.
Now explain to people what are DHA
what is
levels.
DHA, right?
Yes.
What is all of that? So DHA is docosahexaenoic acid. Docosahexaenoic acid. So docosa means 22. Okay? Because you got dodecahedrons, right?
Right.
Okay? That's 12.
It is.
And then you got icosahedrons, and that's 20.
Facts.
22, though, is docosahedron. Okay?
I need to see what that looks like.
That's going to be a 22-sided boy. But docosahexaenoic acid, the reason why it's called, it has the 22, is because
go ahead. Yeah.
the 22 represents the carbon content in the molecule. It's 22 carbons.
Facts.
All right? Hexa represents how many double bonds is in this molecule. Okay? So it's docosahexa. Why does double bonds matter? What does 22 matter?
So the double bond of a 22 sounds like a 44 to me. I ain't slow. Wait a minute here. Talk to me now.
So, let me give you an understanding. Earlier, I was talking about circadian rhythm, right?
You what?
Talking about the light. Different times of the day, right, represent different frequencies of light. Different frequencies of light represents the time in your body so you can create certain things so your body can run properly, right? What is your eyes made of? What is your brain made of? How do you see? What is the mechanism?
These are cones.
Okay? So you got your eyeball.
Facts.
Damn near all water. You got a perfect black body radiator called a pupil. Okay? Black body radiator is a black body where no light can escape, so it's like a black hole.
Black hole,
you
right.
got your black holes are your eyes. No light escapes them. It enters into the pupil, Okay, where the iris dictates how much light can come in at one time. That's why when we take shrooms and DMT and other stuff, our pupils is what?
Defocalized.
Oh, them things is like, we don't got no more iris. That means we're allowing a way greater broader band of light into the black hole. Okay?
That explains a lot.
So it hits the back of the eye, right? Where the retina is, okay? And the retina consists of rods and cones. Rods being for black and white, cones being for color. But the color is based on discs that are inside of it that are like red, green, blue, just like your printer cartridges.
Like I was about to say, it sounds like the printer.
That's what it is. What do you think you're doing? You're printing light. That's what you see when you're looking at stuff. You're looking at copy machines happening based on photons hitting the rods and the cones. Okay? So, in order for these rods and cones to accept these photons, right? Light has to get through the skin, get through the membrane. 60% of your rods and cones consist of DHA. The membrane of the cone and the rod and every individual disc inside that's individually wrapped. Picture of Mentos, okay? Mentos got the little dish-shaped candies inside, but the whole thing's wrapped. Well, imagine each one of those Mentos was wrapped. Each one of those membranes is made out of DHA, okay? And this DHA is what takes in photons and converts photons into electricity, turns it into current immediately. So there's reason to believe now that DHA overlooked DNA because your DHA levels determine the genes that are expressed in your DNA in respect to your brain development. I'm going to say that again. Your DHA levels directly affect what genes are expressed in relation to the development of your brain. Okay? Now you hit me to Bruce Lipton.
I did.
What's his saying? The power of what?
The biology of belief.
Biology of belief, right?
Yes.
Where he states in accordance with the cell that he says that the membrane of the cell, I mean, they did call it membrane, is the actual brain of the cell, not the nucleus.
Facts.
Right? What does a membrane consist of? A phospholipid bilayer. Phospho for phosphorus, lipid for lipid. So you take phosphates, you combine that shit, that with the lipids, and you got a phospholipid. DHA is a lipid. So when you think of the membrane and the phospholipid bilayer, that same left leg that we step forward with and Kemet on all those walls is the same left leg that steps forward with DHA in your phospholipid bilayer. And that stepping forward of that left leg of that phospholipid bilayer is what allows you to bring in I-10's light and convert that into electricity. I mean, y'all could look it up. Now, this is what the vegan gene is all about. You see? Because there's a gene that codes for you being able to convert a certain omega-3 into DHA when you're vegan. But when you decide to eat meat, you turn it off. And you tell your body that you don't want to make it. You're going to get it directly from the environment. So you start eating fish in order to get your DHA up, as opposed to getting it from the earth.
It would appear that they need to see that vegan genes.
Oh no, they got to see the vegan genes
presentation.
Yeah. Vegan genes presentation is coming to a city near you.
Yes.
It's a good 4 hours. It's a good 4 hours.
Yes.
And I take my time, and I don't just talk about the pro-veganism. Like, I actually come from a carnivorous perspective as well. You know, because the studies show that the mortality rates of vegans and people that eat meat are the same. Matter of fact, vegans' neurodegenerative disorders are higher than people that eat meat. And they got more cardiovascular issues. Wow. That doesn't make much sense. But see, not understanding cholesterol and the ratio between omega-6 fatty acids to omega-3 fatty acids can put a vegan in a very tight spot. I'm going to say that again. The ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s will put a vegan in a very bad spot. The problem with people that become vegan based on the family member that's like banging it into their head, or them staying up late night looking at YouTube and like I'm on change, or watching What the Health, you get a lot of lazy vegans. And it's not their fault. They're only lazy because they don't know the entire picture. They're not balancing it all out. You see what I'm saying? They're just like plant-based diet.
Right.
Anything that's not meat, I'm going to eat it.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they start tossing it all down. They start throwing it all down.
Yeah, they become like a juicer.
That's what I'm saying. But the same way when you were eating meat, like you ate different things throughout the day all the time. You even went to work out. You even popped multivitamins. So you knew that you had to have some type of well-balanced. It was a bigger picture to it. It wasn't just chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. But when you're a vegan, people do that. They'll just eat like apple and salad all day long, every day, with some quinoa. And it's like, no. And then I hear some of the combinations. I'm like, why would you even think that's something good?
Yeah, they don't really know too much about food combination.
No. And it's like the spice trade, bruh. Why did Columbus come over here? He came over here for black pepper. He came here for spices. That's why Ferdinand Isabella sent him over here. Because he didn't go to the States. Where did Christopher Columbus end up, bruh?
Hispaniola.
St. Croix. First.
Okay.
Virgin Islands.
Virgin Islands first?
Yes, he went to St. Croix first. Looking, because what's in the islands? Spices. That was the first trade. Why would Ferdinand and Isabella be so hype about spices? Why would they want plants and healing modalities? Well, just about 75 years before they got into power in 1492, they were going through the Black Plague, which we forget about. I don't know if anybody's ever put the timeline together. It was the late 1300s when that happened. I think they said 1/3 of their population gone. And I forget what the population of the planet was, but just wiped out from that junk. So you would think after something like that, people would be like, yo, we got to do something different around here. And seasonings, the same way you prepare for seasons for agriculture, seasonings do the same thing for your body. That's why they call seasonings, because cayenne pepper make you hot. Mint make you cold. Some make you sweat, some make you dry. Some make you stink, some make you smell good. So these plants, these herbs, these spices manipulate the seasons of the body. And that has always been the number one trade. It still is.
Facts.
Man, $10,000 for a pound of saffron. We trying to push weed, we could push saffron, bro. 10 racks for a pound today. So when you put all these pieces together, you start to notice what's important. And when you're cooking, you got to think about the spices. You got to think about hooking that thing up, adding some soul to it. That's why they would say mama broke her foot in it. Because what's the bottom of the foot called?
So.
Naturally. Right? So she put her soul up in there, and people become vegan and they don't put their soul in the food. And then because they don't put the soul in the food, they just be like kind of eating stuff. They start eating French fries, potato chips, right? Cottonseed oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, all of those are omega-6s. Our ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 is supposed to be 4-1. A meat eater is anywhere between 7 and 12. Vegans, 25, bruh. Vegan children, 44. Which means for every one, it'll take 44. You're eating 44 times the amount of omega-6s than you're supposed to be eating. And what does that do? Raises blood inflammation. It's crazy. Vegan Gene, I go all into it in detail. You see what I'm saying? So the key really at the end of the day is to increase your omega-3s. But how do you do that? Because apparently everybody say you got to get your omega-3s from fish. You got algae sources, but then you got flaxseed. But I'm telling you, I'm not with putting flaxseed in the body. Flaxseed ain't supposed to be going in the body. Flaxseed is industrial purposes, you know.
Okay.
I don't do the chia either.
No?
Nah, I think chia got some issues too. I had to keep looking. I had to keep knocking on the door. And the only reason why I was able to find out where to find these omega-3s from is because I was looking. I found this one article, man. It's always one that pop up. It was a story about these Norwegian scientists that was studying women in Nepal, Nepalese women and their children. And they was like, yo, we know their DHA levels got to be, because they ain't eating nothing marine out here. They in Nepal. Now, we all know Nepal, Tibet. Ain't that where the Dalai Lama, Buddha, Karmartaj, Dr. Strange?
High up in the mountains, right?
So if anybody got some good DHA, they probably got good DHA because they be on the spirit. They be on something. They be making the mandalas with the sand, bruh.
Cold.
Going in. So it made me think. I said, okay, they're very spiritually adept people. Their brain on fleek. The Norwegians did test of their blood, their DHA, if not was the same as people who eat fish, higher. Their conclusion was they don't know why. I said, you're lying. I don't believe you. You just don't want to tell nobody. So I had to find out what they was eating to get that oil, to get that DHA. What was they doing? So I dug, and I found it. And now what I do, as opposed to just pushing the C3, I push the oil along with the C3. So when they make the tea, you drop a couple drops, just 2.5 drops in there, and you get more than your recommended daily allowance of your omega-3s. If you're vegan, in about 3 to 4 months, you satisfy all your ALA stores in your body. Then your body can now start converting ALA into DHA at a more significant rate. So in the next 6 months to the next year, you're converting ALA to DHA like nothing. And your brain starts to develop and your brain starts to grow. Brain development, brain growth, brain evolution is based on DHA.
So these niggas will start building pyramids again?
With their mind.
Okay. I'm all for it.
You know what I'm saying? No.
I'm all for it. Let's start this campaign.
When you look back, the funny thing about me is my name is KT.
It is.
Unfortunately, back in the day, it doesn't get a bad rap. Because KT wasn't the KT event. Have you ever heard of the KT event?
I have not.
Yeah, the KT event. The KT event is when everything got destroyed. That's when the dinosaurs got wiped out. That was called the KT event. You know that, did you?
Damn.
Wiped out. Okay? But no. At one point in time, it was all sludge. It was single cell organisms, right? But then out of nowhere, all forms of life just kind of popped out of the sea, like almost overnight. Like how you go all this time and nothing's popping, and all of a sudden something starts popping. Do you know what was the factor in that? DHA got added to the mix. And by DHA getting added to the mix, now no optic development. If you see, I don't know if you saw the movie Life that came out this year, where they went to Mars and found a little life form.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, the life form was it was just eye and nerve and muscle. That's all that the being was made out of. So it just kept evolving and just became this beast. DHA allowed optic development where now we can utilize light directly as a form of energy to drive the being. So that's what the eyes were formed for. And they kept getting better and better and better, but DHA was the mechanism that allowed that to start up, and then the further development of the brain. You see? So to go back to where I started, way back in all of this, why hasn't the genius been done yet? Because our DHA is like, we're not getting it in. We don't know nothing about it, and our diets ain't balanced. See, it ain't really about the food, you see, because our requirements are based on 2/3 light, 1/3 food. That's our ratio. In order for our bodies to function, optimum level, to get to the promised land, 2/3 of our needs are supposed to be met through light, through the sun, and 1/3 through the food. But if you're boxed in, you got the lights on you all the time, you're on the phone and the computer, you up all night at your overnight shift, you sleeping throughout the whole day, then guess what? Now you got to do 2/3 food, 1/3 light. Well, if you do that 2/3 food, 1/3 light, that food got to be equivalent with that light. And you know people ain't eating that light when it comes to that food. This is why people in the islands get away with so much, because they're getting their 2/3 light. And they don't have no problem eating fruit and all that. So when they do throw this thing on the grill and throw that on the grill, like, they get by because it be for that one moment, and their lifestyle totally counteracts it. But see, where we live at, the people here ain't even eating real meat. Even if you were a meat eater, no, you're not. You're a garbage eater.
Fake food with the paste glue.
Yeah, straight up maggots and. Come on, they recycling fecal matter now in Japan, boo-boo burgers and everything. Like, you got to leave it alone at this point. You don't even know if it's real. And if you're eating that cheese, you know what the apparatus is called? They put a female cow in order to start creating milk. It's called a rape rack. Yeah, rape rack. And they bring a male over, inseminates her, right? She gets pregnant, baby's born, yanks the baby away. Sound familiar, right? Snatches that baby up. Mama's crying for days for her baby. If it's a female baby, they get hit with hormones, so they could become like a 5-year-old girl with 21-year-old body and boobies.
Sound familiar?
You know what I'm saying? The males, they go straight to slaughter, and that's what you call veal.
Right.
Okay? She stays there, and while she's crying, there's no baby to relieve her of the agony of engorged breasts. All y'all women know what I'm talking about. When you haven't fed the baby yet, what that pain feel like? Imagine you're a cow and you got udders, and it's been days. So then they pull it out, and the FDA allows.
They pull what out? Be graphic.
They
Let's
pulled
talk
the
about it.
they pulled the milk out. They pull that milk straight up out of her, along with, per ounce of milk, the FDA allows 22 million pus cells. 22 million per ounce of milk. Per ounce of milk, 22 million pus cells are allowed by the FDA. 22 million?
So 22 again.
So after that, then you spoil that to make the cheese. Cheese ain't even like milk on it. So you see everything you're eating deals with fermentation. Our whole society is dealing with decomposition. Nobody wants to deal with life. Like things that eat fruit, things that eat vegetables, you're looking for the best fruit on that tree, the most colorful, the greatest smell. A carnivore is looking for the funkiest smell because that means something is decaying. Cancer gives off an odor. So best believe carnivorous beings are looking for cancerous beings. So if we live in a world where people are being fed on, of course they would want us in a cancerous state because that's what predators do. You see what I'm saying? So the body is electric. And in order for you to properly use that electricity, you need it through the DHA, which is a huge percentage of the brain, huge percentage of your eyes. It's throughout the whole body, you know? We need this in our systems. We got to consume these omega-3s consistently. The omega-6, omega-3 ratio has to be fine-tuned. When you fine-tune that, you're going to have some amazing results that'll take place for you personally. I'm not just talking about getting rid of the disease or no, I'm talking about like clarity, cognitive function. You know what I'm saying? New thoughts, new insights, new ideas. You're here for a purpose, but it's hard to understand what your purpose is with so much noise around. You know what I'm saying? And with all that noise and all this pollution and all this toxicity, like, you need a ray of sunshine. And through that ray of sunshine, you can eat that. Like, you can eat the sun. That's what Akhenaten was showing on the walls with Aten, with all the ankhs coming down. He brought that back. Because he was like, y'all getting a little twisted up in here, you know? In Ragnarok, bruh. In Thor Ragnarok. I've never seen the Hulk eat yet. In all the movies I've seen him in. I don't think I've seen him eat in the old series. You remember with Lou Ferrigno? Did he ever eat?
Nah, never seen him.
The first time I've ever seen Hulk eat anything was in Thor Ragnarok, and he was eating straight up squash, bruh.
Hulk a vegan?
Hulk a vegan, bruh. I mean, he green.
Hulk smash a vegan?
Yes. And what is gamma radiation in the first place? Electromagnetic spectrum is supposed to be the highest frequency of light. And he's green. So if they're telling us that the highest frequency of light is green, then it's maybe through the greens that you get that light.
Yeah.
I mean,
it makes a lot of sense now.
I'm just saying, like, maybe I'm just
Oh,
rambling.
yeah.
Maybe I'm rambling. But we were here talking about the EMP. We got all into the vegan gene.
Yeah.
Because we got to prepare our environment, and we have to prepare our environment as well, like what's within us. We got to get that right.
Our
Environment. You got to understand how electricity flows in here and out here, because that's power. The relationship between the external environment and the internal environment is called homeostasis. Homeostasis. That's the ma'at that we're looking for. And as long as we're dependent upon others giving us power in our environment and others giving us power inside our bodies, we can never yell black power. Huh? You can't say that.
Yeah, where the power come from?
Not from black. So power is black on its own. So it's almost like saying ATM machine. Because what does ATM stand for?
Automatic teller machine.
So when I say ATM machine, what am I saying? Automatic teller machine? Like, why am I saying that? It's just ATM, right?
Right.
Unless I'm going to say it. So when you say black power, like, power is black automatically. Because all light cannot escape it. It contains it all. You see. And once we get a better understanding of that, we'll understand how powerful we really are. And we'll start applying our internal principles outward and our outward principles inward and create that balance.
could dig it.
You could dig it.
I could dig it.
I'm probably just tall. I don't know what I'm talking about. I break down movies, and I don't like apple cider vinegar. So what do I know? I'm just saying. I don't think I know anything. I think I'm just rambling.
You that guy.
I'm just rambling. I got somebody feeding me the information over here in my ear.
You that guy.
Am I done?
Just about done.
Yeah, man. But nah, this EMP thing is something serious. Faraday cages, bruh. Like, that's something to look up. Circuits, switches, anode, cathode, capacitors, what else? Solenoids. Like, look up all that stuff. Like, all of that stuff are principles that occur inside our body, man. And it's all around us. It's all around us. So whenever the power go out, you can bring it back in.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't got to wait for somebody else to bring it back in.
Right.
You could
And
bring it back
They
in.
were stressing that in Puerto Rico. You know, the headlines. And I remember people on Facebook saying, you have to be careful of the words that you use, you know. Because they're saying, you know, they lost power.
Right.
There's no power. You know, even to the point with Trump playing on that. Like, you niggas ain't got no power.
See?
Can't do for self.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, the connection and the correlation was made, you know, when the Greasy talk started.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
But then Elon Musk just dropped some
I
solar
mean,
panels.
I saw that.
Yeah,
you know,
the Tesla.
I
Tesla batteries.
I broadcasted that information because I got it from Tesla's page.
Right.
You know, but I didn't see it in the news.
No, I mean, you don't see St. Croix in the news. You don't see St. Thomas in the news. You don't see Dominica in the news. You don't see Antigua or Barbuda in the news.
Nah.
You don't see none of that in the news. And they're the ones that really got it bad because Puerto Rico is like a nexus in the Caribbean. They get smashed, everybody suffers because they're a nexus point. Their tower with the airport, like that's how they coordinate flights in that area is through Puerto Rico. So when that went down, that's why the airport shut down where I was at, and I wasn't allowed off the island. The first day I went to try and go rent a car, they like called over to the rental place and they was like, yeah, only FEMA and Army only can rent. Like, they was shutting it down left and right, curfews. Like I said, I'm going to go into all of this with my Ragnarok because Thor Ragnarok got a lot to do with weather modification and a couple other things. So I'm going to be getting into that live.
Brother Rich.
Somebody said, we are not electric beings. We are made out of meat.
Okay.
It's late. It's
there
late,
you go.
bro. It's late.
There you go. Hey, you're absolutely right to yourself.
Right on.
Right on, brother.
No arguing here.
He said we're made out of meat.
Yeah, I mean, some interesting stuff you're dealing with, KT, with this whole electric body concept. And, you know, it even reminds me of what Panic is talking about, us understanding our technology. We don't understand the technology of the human body.
No, we don't.
So I definitely appreciate it when you break down this
that.
technology of the human body and the blood and the, you know, the lymphic system and everything that's going on. We're going to take calls soon. Let me
See what we got.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for staying with us. It's 1:20. I know we're having some slight technical difficulties, so I appreciate the support.
It's Saturday night.
It's
you know
Saturday night. For those of you,
Ask them who won the fight.
oh, anybody know who won the fight?
Oh, the hour went back.
Does it do that too?
Yeah, because now it's 1:19. I think it's supposed to be 2:19.
Oh, so it just went back.
We just lost an hour.
Damn, we just lost an hour.
Dope. We're in the throes of the losing of hours.
The losing of hours, though. Yeah. Terrible, man. Fall back.
All right, give me a second, family.
Fall back, son.
Where is this? Yo, you heard Bitcoin just went to 7,000 or something, yo?
I heard it.
Yo, by the time I had my show with Phil, it was at like 6.
6, yeah, it jumped.
3 days later, it's at like 75. Yo, bro.
It's moving.
Crazy.
Let them know we got something coming next week. Big announcement dealing with Bitcoin. And we also are going to be previewing some of the vegan gene. It's either going to be November 25th or 26th. I'm working the dates out, family, because I do understand that that's the weekend of Black Friday. And I know that y'all might still want to get your
Oh, man, yeah, we going to be eating turkey, Blue.
your sales
And
and all of that.
yams.
But we're going to be doing our second annual.
And mac and cheese.
Hams, turkeys, and hams.
We're going to be doing.
Potatoes, tomatoes.
Hold on, y'all. We're going to do the second annual celebration for Dr. Sabi's Born Day here in New York City at Riverside Church. It's either going to be the 25th or the 26th, which is either that Saturday or that Sunday. Right now, I'm working with the 25th, but I want to change it to the 26th just because, you know, I want to let y'all do your thing. I'm not judgmental. You know what I mean? I know that might be a heavy shopping day for people, so.
But it's supposed to be going in the middle of the night anyway. So they probably
No, that's Black Friday.
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking Black Friday.
Saturday comes, they still might want to get out there. So, you know, because some of them, they get on buses and go places and stuff. If it don't work, we'll still be back on that Saturday. But if not,
I will be
that Sunday,
the vegan gene.
we will be presenting the vegan gene in New York. You get a preview in a few weeks from now. More than likely, it's going to be a free event. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have them.
But yeah, the brother might do a cooking demo. You know what I'm saying?
I heard Rich wanted me
Yeah,
to do
you have to pay for that. Yeah.
I heard Rich wanted me to do something. Yeah, man, these people. Yo, hold on, this food, man. Spice game.
That food is serious, huh? I've been hearing about you, bruh.
What
Been hearing about
what
you.
you heard?
They say, you know, they said you be putting your foot in it. That soul. You know?
I deal with transitional meals because
Yes.
I've had enough experience by now to know that the reason why, like I said earlier with the whole lazy vegan thing, the reason why people still can't convert or they convert and relapse is because they have poor transition.
Very much.
They have a taste for a thing. They have a smell. They got a whole experience that they're used to. And when they transition, they don't get that. So I deal specifically with transitional meals that people are used to, but they just are plant-based. So I still do macaroni and cheese. I still do collard greens. I still do pulled pork sandwiches.
Yay. You had that shrimp boy yet from Viva La Vegan?
I didn't. With the what is it? The koji?
Yeah.
Kojak. With the konjac. That's what it is.
Konjac.
That konjac, yeah.
Bruh,
I already know. I heard.
run down on them.
I heard. But I did the collard green spring rolls though.
I ain't do that yet.
Oh yeah, see you slipping.
The collard green spring roll?
The collard green spring roll, bruh. Yes. Chinese just got conjacked. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the collard green spring rolls. But nah, I definitely want to do a cooking workshop up here in New York so that I can not only have the people taste the food that they've been seeing the pictures of and hearing about, but so I can show folks how easy it is. You got to be passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cooking. It's chemistry. If you was in the lab making up some tonic or potion or super soldier serum, like, you going to be right in exactly what you do. You know, you don't got to do teaspoon and cup. It could be pinch, you know, and pour. But at the same time, you got to be passionate about what you do. The food that you cook, you got to love it. You love your mama's food because your mama loved you. She was tired as hell getting off from work.
She was.
You know what I'm saying? She had a headache.
All that.
You know?
She'll put her foot in it, though.
Because once she got to cutting them onions, she would feel it. She start getting in the rhythm. She balanced it out. Boom, boom, boom. Put it in front of you. You don't taste the spaghetti noodle. You don't taste the squash.
It's mama's magic.
Tasting mama up in there.
It's mama's magic up
And
in
because we all get our mama's mitochondria, we can all cook it up. We gotta cook it up. We gotta put that bite back in there because we don't have that bite no more. You know.
So you mean to tell me, KT? So if I go to a restaurant, since I like my mom's food because she put the love in it, and
Right.
Her intention, I guess, it could change the molecular structure of the food. What about the person in Taco Bell who you cursed out? You came there late at night, you cursed out, and they making your food and they cursing you out in their head and they angry and they mad and they not washing their hand. They might wipe their ass.
Oh,
and
it don't
all
matter.
types of nasty stuff.
You can eat that. It's just food. Food is all the same. We made out of meat. So, so it don't matter. It doesn't matter because we just meat. But yeah, you don't know if that dude was just digging in his drawers and wiping his nose.
But besides the obvious of it being nasty, energy wise.
Yeah, I mean it was chopped up, it was frozen, it was sprayed with a bunch of chemicals, and the people that's making it ain't thinking about your betterment. They're not like, oh man, this next person that walk up in here, they're gonna love my taco. Cause I put a little cumin on it at the end.
Put it in.
Yeah.
I got that special touch to that.
Cause
taco.
I stirred the cheese. I didn't shake the cheese. Like everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? No, man. It's like
Did my mantras over it.
Yeah. I dropped a crystal in that boy. My crystal fries, man. No, it does not work, man. And like I was saying earlier, with all the people that talk about the 140-year-old grandma that ate pork, no offense to grandma, but grandma was selfish and she just didn't know it. See, we all pass genetics down to the next generation. And the quality of genes you pass down depends upon the choices you make in your life. So you might have dodged a bullet, but you took away the ever-evasive move from your child, so when they grow up, they get shot.
Right, so they one step slower.
Yes.
So that's why they getting
great
clipped off.
grandma was 140, grandma was 115, mama was 80, and you 75, just like with everybody else. Because she ate it.
So that's like what's the joints that the mycelium sheath is around
The nerve.
the nerve, and it gets shorter and shorter. Telomeres, right?
Oh, you're talking about the telomeres. Yeah.
So the
The Hayflick limit.
telomeres getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Right.
So this is what we're talking about in essence.
Oh,
epigenetically, then passing down shorter and shorter telomeres.
But even with telomeres, you're talking about chromosomes, you're talking about nuclear DNA, meaning the DNA in the cell.
Yeah.
The organelle.
I mean, I'm just using the analogy.
No, you're using
Right,
an analogy.
Yeah.
But I was going to bounce off that and just say further that is really based on the mitochondrial health, the genome of the mitochondria, which is passed down through the mother.
Mama.
That's right. If the mitochondria is messed up, you messed up. You have to take care of the mitochondria. You take care of the mitochondria, your cell is going to be good just off the strength of that.
So, in a larger sense,
Yes.
we're talking about being very wise about the woman that you choose.
Yes. We're gonna let me tie this up so you understand what we're saying.
And shit, right?
Your mitochondria, which has its own genome, which an organelle or protein does not have, enzyme does not have. Okay. If anything has its own DNA in your body, it's its own organism. It's not you. Okay. The mitochondria is its own organism, it's its own cell, and it's specifically passed down by way of the mother. Okay. So what that means is, yes, you have to be very careful on the women you choose in life, because whatever seed, whatever child you create is going to contain the mitochondria of the woman that you chose. All right? So the child's health the child's betterment, the child's well-being is going to be completely dependent upon the mother of that child and the matriarchal lineage of that mother. So what was grandma on? What was auntie on? What was great-great-grandmama on? What were they all on? What were they doing? You see? Maybe they was super on point, you know? And like me, I got blessed with a serious mitochondria. You got one of them boys too.
I just so happen to.
Cause I think that's why she mama pill. That's that mitochondria right there. She got that she
I would
slung
think
our
so.
way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to her.
Oh, big shout out to mama. So you have to look at all the mitochondria that you get, and then when you take care, so you want to see how to take care of your health. Look at your mama, okay? Look at the decisions your mother made, the way she ate, the way she lived, the way she thinks. If you observe her and take that into account for yourself, you'll help your mitochondria and you'll help your seed's mitochondria in proxy.
As you know, unfortunately, when we have these conversations, we have to be mindful that, you know, we are speaking to people in the audience who might not have had the best relationship with their mother, the best upbringing. They might even saw their mother smoking, you know, or doing things that just were not in league with health. They might even come from a family with Big Mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Big Mama, you know what I'm saying, evolved into a situation where, you know, her daughter might have just been, you know, KFC every night. You know what I'm saying? She just got into the beef ribs and just found out that was right. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Real talk.
No, you for real.
So what can a person do that has come here with compromised mitochondria, but they still want to take this walk? They still want this journey to be one in which they feel that they're empowered to say, my decisions count, and I shouldn't be hampered by something that happened 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 generations ago.
No doubt. Epigenetics. Epigenetics meaning above and beyond genetics, meaning environmental factors and current factors, right, influence your DNA expression. Okay? And to break that down further, meaning mama was on this type of thing, but if you change the environment around you and you change the environment within you, you can change the circumstance so you don't go down the same road that mama did. You see, that's epigenetics. And that's also another reason why the mitochondria is passed down, because that kind of controls mutation, you see what I'm saying, and damage, because something's getting preserved back to back to back. Now, based on how the mothers are acting, they can affect that genome, but you can always fix that based upon you taking it in control. You know? Oh, nah, I'm good.
So, when we're talking about environmental changes, you know what I'm saying, I've heard a lot of things thrown around, especially very recently, you know. Do you have any suggestions in regards to where you would say this is where you should be relocating to for the best epigenetic results?
Well, we got to think about haplotype. Big shout out to Minister Inky. He's doing the Eat Right for your haplotype as opposed to blood type, which is way more efficient.
Yeah, shout out to Ngozi, right? That's the brother's name?
Oh, yeah, Ngozi,
Yeah,
the genetic
brought that,
genetic mastermind, yeah. So haplotype deals with the lineage of the mitochondria. So you want to check that out. You know, how a lot of people are getting tests with their nuclear DNA, try and get a test by way of your mitochondria. Find out, you know, what your mama was on, great-grandmama was on, great-great-great-grandmama was on. That's what you want to do, you know. And what you do is, in the current status, in the current state, you know, we as people would just be better in an equatorial region. You know, if you look back at your haplotype, you'll find out where your mama came from and your mama's mama came from. Majority of everybody come from the South. You hear about people being up north. Majority of folks, even up here, if they either in the south or way down south in the Caribbean.
Right.
Guyana, Central America, like all over. So we equatorial people. That's why I say we always talked about, you know, eating the indigenous foods from where we came from. If you follow the equator all the way around, the same foods are grown in Africa and the Caribbean and Mexico and Central America and India, all throughout that belt. You know, so more than likely, if you consume foods in those areas, minus, you know, the hybrids, of course, you're going to get tip-top results. That's where all the herbs at. That's where all the science is, you know. But we're in the winter. Vitamin D winter just hit. Do y'all know what vitamin D winter is? Do you know what vitamin D winter is? Cholesterol levels are only high because we're not cycling it into making vitamin D. Cholesterol and vitamin D are pretty much the same thing. It's just that your liver and your kidney activate it, they finalize it and turns it into an active molecule that you can use. But if you do not get UVB radiation, you got UV radiation, you got infrared, and you got UV. Okay, UV's ultraviolet, IR infrared. Okay. UV breaks up into 3 categories, A, B, and C. C is like 210 nanometers to like maybe 320 or something like that. UVB is like 320 to 360, and then from like 360 to 380 is like UVA. I might be slightly off, but it's in there somewhere. So you got those 3 sections. When you go past a certain latitude, where you have deciduous forests and fall weather and stuff like that popping, you don't have a year-long amount of UVB radiation coming from the sun. You're getting predominantly UVA radiation. Okay. You might get it between March and August because that's spring and the hottest time in summer. Right. And that's when you'll start to get it. But what happens in the fall? It starts diminishing until you get to like November, like now, where there's none. Okay. And you got to wait a good 6 months before there's any. So what do? But usually, what do? Innately, we go on vacation. Why do people go on vacation? Why do they go to islands? Why do they go on the beach? Yeah, they go to get that UVB. Right. You know? So we suffer from UVB winters. We don't get the UVB. The UVB radiation is what converts the cholesterol, which is the subcutaneous fat in our skin, into another form that goes to the liver, from the liver to the kidney, and then in the proximal tubule, the mitochondria in the proximal tubule in the kidney converts that into the active form that we use as vitamin D. You know? So, yeah, man, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need that UVB radiation to stimulate that. And then our cholesterol
Is there any
levels,
synthetic form that we can get it?
Synthetic form of what?
UVB sunlight.
UVB sunlight synthetically. Well, you know they got the different UV lights to grow the plants. Yes. So I know people that do get like lamps. They get infrared and they get UVB lamps, and they put them in their room. And that stuff like that works when you're in like situations where you got halogen bulbs all the time, you're indoors all day and stuff. If you're in at night, yeah, you could put that on and that you'll get something out of it. But nothing compares to the sun. Nothing compares to the sun. So you got to get down there. You got to get down there. Or the best thing you could do is at least get as much sun as you can when you can where you are. Because every little bit helps. You know, you look back in antiquity, we hardly had clothes on. Dudes didn't wear shirts. We had pectorals, and we had something wrapped around our waist. That was it. Yeah. We had sandals on, not to be flying, show off our toes, getting pedicured or whatever.
Right. Chancletas, right.
But so our feet can breathe and we could be grounded into the earth.
Grounded. There we go again.
The women, same thing, sheer dresses on so that the light can come through and touch their body. Y'all women need to start putting y'all breasts in the sun more often. I'm not saying you got to walk down the street topless, but you got to find your times where you let them breasts breathe.
Yeah, and you don't got to go to Costa Rica to do it either.
Nah. That's why a lot of women's breasts sag. That's why they have the pale look. Y'all got pains. Why else do y'all think y'all get all those little nodules and stuff in there? Because you're strapping them down, that underwire. They don't get no light. One of the highest quantities of DHA is in the woman's breasts. I got one for you. Did you see the Oxford study where they were saying women with a big booty are more intelligent?
I did.
You did? Okay, now, funny thing about that. The reason why women with big booties are more intelligent is because a big booty is saturated with DHA.
DHA. Lord, I just found my protein supplement.
But I'm saying a DHA is called an omega-3 fatty
lipid.
fatty acid.
So the fatty is acidic?
No, I'm just saying it's called a fatty acid. Yeah, it's called a fatty acid.
Yeah.
So big booties are the result. I'm talking about the ones that are up and they got a nice tone. You know, when you go to South Africa, when you go down to the equator. I'm not saying nobody here.
They in Brazil.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Brazil.
They done.
For the ones that don't got the shots, we're talking about the real boys.
That's one with the shots. Yeah.
Is DHA. So why is that important? Well, that's a storage chamber for DHA. This is why women that have children, sometimes they don't have the same body anymore after they have the children. Their booty isn't as big as they was. Their body changes because that DHA was a storage chamber for the child's brain. You see what I'm saying? Think about women in South Africa, Sarah Bartman, right?
Yeah, with the fatty. Venus
where the whole big booty concept comes from.
So,
right?
let's
large derriere, gluteus
Yes.
maximus. I can use other terms in booty. I hope
So,
I'm not
because
offending
of
anybody.
the positioning of the baby in the uterus, all that junk in her trunk was not junk DNA.
No, it's not junk. It's
Right.
not junk. It's pristine DHA. That
Pristine DHA, like how the fruits grow in abundantly around the seed,
yes.
and that sugar, that's
Okay.
shit feel like the Matrix for
I
a
was
minute.
just saying, son. Yo, we
I was like,
going
hold on.
in. I guess
So-
going in.
That like, you know, when we think about the sugar apple,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and
That's
all
right.
that sweetness is surrounding that seed,
It's
that
that
mango.
DHA surrounding that seed.
So this is what we're talking about, because I had a theory.
Okay.
And because I just continuously started seeing, women with extremely large hips and profound derrieres. Like, it was just like,
The hips.
it was an uptick.
The hips is
and I was
telling
like,
us.
these women are coming here to procreate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's genetic.
look how ready they are.
It's genetic.
You feel me?
The reason why we like wide hips is because you can give birth to a baby when you have wide hips. You have a great pelvic girdle. Okay? When a child comes out the vagina, it is called crowning.
Facts.
That's how you shape the head. And then as you're feeding on your mother, she rubs your head and she shapes it that way too. So we're looking at the hips because of giving birth. We're looking at the behind because of the DHA. That's why a man can't help himself but to turn around and look at it, because it's a connection. It is a genetic thing. It's like, yes,
Right.
she might be one. It's all about seeding.
She has more potential to give birth to a small baby.
That's right. And they have great intelligence themselves. So y'all could look the Oxford study up, you know what I mean, where they looked at the women. And hey, I know, y'all know black women, they have some of the best, the greatest,
They do. They do. Yeah.
So what does that say about the intelligence? We already know our sisters got that intelligence.
They do. They do.
Come on.
Understand.
They get things quicker. They don't have to read a bunch of stuff to get it.
They don't.
They mature very fast.
They do.
And even our bodies have a lot to do with their bodies. So it's like, I get it. I understand. So it's like it's a magnetic field we get caught up in.
Yeah, that Oregon.
That Oregon, though. Definitely. So, yeah, it comes back to that DHA, man.
Hey, man.
It comes back to that DHA. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's your eyes. And when we look at Kemet, like, come on, the eye of Ra, like the eye of Heru, like, show them. Show them why. Why do they talk about the eye so much? Why?
Yeah.
Because the eye represents the clock. The eye is the clock. We slow light down. Light goes 186,000 miles per second in a vacuum when it's uninhibited. But when it hits our eyes and gets in our photoreceptors, it gets refracted and it slows light down. And it turns a photon into a wave. This is what you call a quasi-particle. If anybody has ever heard of the slit experiment, okay, that's what happens with our eyes, okay? The sun spits out these photons. The photon, when it enters our eye, is not going to be able to hit our photoreceptors being a particle. It could miss. So as it goes through the waters, it transfers from a particle state into a wave state. And then from that wave state, it ends up creating electricity, and we create sight. And through sight, we create more electricity that then dictates which glands to create which hormones. And we know hormones is harmony. That's the balance. That's how you keep everything in order. Suprachiasmatic nucleus. That's our clock. And our clock is what is stimulated by
As
way
we
of sunlight.
mechanically set the time back.
Exactly.
How about that?
That's how
For
you
some science.
Man, come on, man. Because it's really going on 3, but now it's going on 2. Is anybody even still up? Is anybody watching? Do we have anybody
I
watching?
have no idea. Not looking at any of the metrics or the analytics.
We're just in the now moment right now.
Just in the now.
Just in
We're
the now.
building. I'm being educated and appreciating my eyes and my brain and the fact that I'm attracted to DHA.
DHA is that boy, man. And it's like when you get into quantum mechanics, you'll get a better understanding, you know what I'm saying, of what DHA really does, because it's something that exists in different planes of existence. It's able to utilize energy from different perspectives and different dimensions. It's just we have so many different facets in which we are able to utilize light. Remember, light from the sun is unpolarized, okay, meaning it's infinite potential with its angles, and different things are able to polarize light. And depending on how you polarize light determines how you can use it, you know?
Indeed. So what's good with Brother Rich?
Rich going in over there.
Yeah, I'm getting back. I'm getting used to running the live stream again. So a lot of things I didn't even factor in. I just had to buy batteries. Y'all batteries is about to die any second. But yeah, this cut off. But listen, family, we about to take calls. I want y'all to call us 718-865-8514. Can somebody post that?
It's the oil. It's a plant that grows throughout the world, but the people that process it and growing it on fleek.
Talk to the, I think you're back on.
Check.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2. There you go. On fleek. Dope.
Yeah. Y'all back on. So
Some people be kicking.
yeah, once again the calling number, family. 718-865-8514. So Yeah, that caller number, once again, I know it cut off. So the caller number 718 865 8514.
I need y'all to go and subscribe to Patreon right now. Because this brother deserves every penny for what he does the way that he do it. Because I don't know if I can be doing that shit.
I turned the ring on. All right, let me answer this, family. Peace, family. Do you got a question, comment, anything for us?
Hello?
Yes. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Shout out to the family and y'all, Blue and KT. I looked up to y'all. Hello?
Peace, family.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I want to ask a question to KT.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, the question is, body temperature is 98.6 degrees, right? And I was wondering, like, do he know how that is, like, maintained? Because, from other sources I've been hearing that we got, like, an inner sun in us. So I want to know if that was, like, do he subscribe to that?
Well, yeah, the dantian, which you're probably referring to in the abdominal region, which they call the solar plexus. It's a nexus of a lot of energy points. It's the one area that connects all of us together, because if you ever saw somebody without a navel, you probably would be like, who are you and where are you from? You know what I'm saying? It's where the child develops at. It's where the intestines are. It's where intuition stems from. It's a very, very important location of the body. And yes, it's very, very warm there. In terms of 98.6 degrees, keep in mind that we're constantly inhaling oxygen, and we're liberating that oxygen in order to create energy and other things in the body, and that creates heat. Our hypothalamus is pretty much is like our thermostat, it governs temperature going up, temperature going down. But the reason why we have so much heat is because of, our mitochondria. Fat is not just white fat, not just white adipose tissue, but it's also brown adipose tissue. And brown adipose tissue is saturated with iron and a lot of mitochondria. And these mitochondria are specifically for not just creating energy, but instead of creating energy, creating heat and electricity. So that's how we keep our 98.6 degrees: blood, mitochondria, oxygen, and then it gets regulated by way of the hypothalamus. Though spiritually, which I see you coming with that angle as well with the whole inner sun, the dantian, which is I think it's DANTIEN, which is solar plexus area. You'd want to look into that, because that'll give you a lot more science with the whole inner sun thing.
Okay, yeah, that sounds, yeah, you broke that down right there. Okay. I got one more question for you, and I appreciate that, they break down, all the continents, like, for my research, what I've been studying, like, all the continents start with an A and they end with an A, like America, Antarctica, Australia, Africa, and Asia. They all, like, feminine names. Like, do you know anything, like, like, what's the coordination behind it?
Well, I know that I don't know what's true and what's real and what's not. When you get into that, it could be philosophical. But I know there are maps where the map is flipped upside down, which gives reason where you can understand better why Upper Kemet was south and Lower Kemet was north. And when you look at all of the continents that you name, they all have points at the bottom that are really supposed to be mountains. Specifically, like in Africa, you got South Africa, and you got Tabletop Mountain there, because it's really supposed to be the top of the world. So when you deal with those A's, remember A represents that mountain, mountain peaks, So it could be, something encoded like that, just showing that you're dealing with land masses that have a high elevation at those points, at the bottom, And then in addition to that, I was going to say, the A is really the ox because it's supposed to be the cow with the two horns. You know, Aleph, Alpha,
right,
and all that.
All right, thanks for the question, brother. We're gonna move on. Thank you, brother.
All right, appreciate you.
Peace.
Peace, family. How you doing? Do you have a question or a comment for KT and Blue Pill?
Yeah, I have a question. I got a health question for KT.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's up, KT, man? It's been a long time watching you, brother, man. You do so much for me, man. I just want you to know that first and foremost. But I got a question. I want to know, like, I'm having a problem dealing with stomach ulcers right now, and it's like affecting my absorption. And I'm facing like surgery and all the other stuff. I just want to know, like, do you know if there's any like plants or anything I can take instead of I would reduce it down, like the acid, so I don't have to face surgery and anything like that?
So what you said? You got acid reflux?
Yeah, it's like my body's producing like a massive amount of acid, and I've been dealing with it the last couple of years, and I've been able to put a stop to it, and it's really affected me to the point where now I'm going to these doctors now. They're telling me they might have to perform surgery to take it out.
What are you eating right now?
Well, it's a ulcer that was there from previous years. It's just been getting worse and worse, and I haven't believed in doctors over the last couple of years, so I never really went to get it checked out or anything like that. But it's gotten to a point where now it's been growing and growing, and I don't want to face a surgery, so I want to do some kind of holistic remedy. And I just wanted to know, like, if there was anything that you can
what's your
recommend
diet?
or kind
What's
of
your current diet, brother?
Okay, so in order to fix a problem, you got to always deal with the cause. So now I hear you talking about an ulcer. So when I hear that lets me know that the mucus lining of your stomach has been compromised, and you need a demulcent, which is a plant or a product that assists in soothing and restoring the mucus lining. Things that have mucilage like okra, help to do things like that. But I would need to know like what you're eating and what the cause is. You know what I'm saying? So I do consultations. You could send me an inquiry at lovegreenlife@gmail, LUVGREENLIFE@gmail.com. That's LUVGREENLIFE@gmail.com. You could send me the inquiry there, and we could do a consultation so I could get a better background and understanding of all what you're dealing with. But to sum it up, mucilage, you got to restore that mucus lining, and you can only do that through things that are alkaline. Acidic things will just raise it up even more, and it's going to eat away at your stomach lining, which is going to continue to make your stomach bleed.
Right. Another question that I had, I know I got to get off, a lot of people coming, but I did attempt on my own, like, because I had basically withdrawn from any meat. Like, I haven't eaten meat in over 2.5 years. I just be eating mostly. I got into a lot of Dr. Sabi. I watched almost every Dr. Sabi video in your videos. And, I try to eat as alkaline as possible, but and one of the things I did try, I did your sea moss, but before I did the sea moss, I tried fasting, and when I was fasting, I was just in so much pain. And when I read is that when you do have a stomach ulcer, one of the things that makes it worse is not eating. And so I'm kind of in a conundrum with that, that whole little.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people that choose to go vegan, they don't get enough information before they decide to do certain things. It's step by step.
Right.
So if you don't even have combinations together, if you have an ulcer and things like that, then you don't just jump in a super fast for 40 days. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, there's many ways to go about it, and a lot of them can be the wrong way. So that's why I'm saying to reach out to me. That way I can get background and find out what exactly you're dealing with and what you're doing and not doing. Because just off this right now, I can't just say, I got to hear where you're coming from. So just send an inquiry to that email. You wrote it down?
I will. Yeah, I got it down. I will. I'll definitely send it to you.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Peace, family.
Thank you.
KT on here healing the world, man. We might have to make this a weekly show where he just giving health advice, man.
And be mindful, family. the brother, his born day, his Earth Day just passed the other day, so we want to salute the brother and wish him a belated happy Earth Day. You know what I'm saying? We don't get into age around here, so we ain't gonna get into
Family, peace, family. Welcome to the show. You got a
What's good,
question
man?
for Blue or KT?
Yeah. All right, what's good, man? But so basically, I got a question on metaphysics, because I'm basically I just got into like Esau and understanding, like, you know, the different like African religions and, you know, divination systems. So I want to get both of y'all perspective on like what we can do, or what, like, basically our community could do down here. Because I'm in Orlando, Florida, so we trying to get people like more conscious. You know, we pushing people. We trying to get them to understand, like, you know, it's a collective. It's not just one person. So like, what you think we could do so we can get more people like involved? Like, you know, what we got to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we hear the videos. Like, I'm watching the videos. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, what
I do?
Let me
can
say
we
something real
do?
quick, Blue. I just want to say something. This is Brother Rich. I just want to say something real quick, brother. The best way to get more people conscious is for you to be conscious. And if they see your light shining, they're going to be like, damn, that brother's skin is glowing. The ladies is magnetized to him. The brother's a wealth magnet. And they're going to want to be conscious. But if it's words are empty. If you're just telling them, yo, you got to be vegan, but they're not seeing the glow of veganism on you or the glow of metaphysics on you, then it's going to be hard to talk to them about it. But go ahead, Blue. Blue was about to say something. Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, I do understand that there may be a community down there in Orlando, so you're not by yourself. Have you partnered at all with Tahir RBG?
Not exactly. So I need to get like that
Tahir,
name. Like, I just went to
Tahir's more in
I need to get that
Tallahassee,
name.
but he can plug you into the community that's down there in Orlando, because there is a community there. You know, and all good things come out of demonstration. So like the brother was saying, you know, you have to embrace it to a degree where it becomes life altering for you. You know what I mean? And people are going to be attracted to that thing. You know, gone is the days when we just create clubs and people go into things not knowing what they
we don't want to. Yeah, we tired of that.
So,
like, basically, I know I'm tired of that. You know,
you gotta walk through that as they say, the white hot desert. You know what I'm saying? That's masonry law, the sands and what have you. That, you know what I'm saying? These journeys are arduous ones that we have to encounter, you know, primarily on our own, and then you meet community. You know what I'm saying? And then things start opening up for you. But Spirit wants to know, what are you willing to do? What does your journey look like? You know, and often the times that we don't want to go into the darkness by ourselves is because we fear something, and we want that camaraderie. We want to hold somebody's hand, and I'm not saying that that's the case with you, but, you know, don't be scared to go into the darkness. Don't be scared to go, you know what I'm saying, adventure into the underworld, you know what I mean, and see what you can extract from your experiences to really alter and change who and what you are.
Right.
You have to know what you in this
because
thing
I'm
for to
seeing too
begin
much.
with.
Like,
you know,
because like right now I'm dealing with, like I said, I'm dealing with Esau, and you know, I'm seeing it like just draw my life. Like, I'm just starting to pick apart my life. Like, I'm just like, oh, I'm starting to see shadows more. I'm starting to see, like, you know, more people involved. I'm starting to see like I'm just running into people. They got the bees on. I'm asking questions.
That's
you know,
what I'm saying.
I'm just,
It's happening for you. It's happening in real time. So you're answering your question. You know what I'm saying? That the more that it happens for you, and the more that you ask your higher self these questions, because that's, you know, your ancestors are just representations of that. The answers will be presented to you and through you. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be something that you're going to get downloads on by your own, and then it's gonna be the commonality of community. You're gonna hear it come through other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah. I just wanted to get like the scientific perspective on like it as well, like 'cause that's why I was
I'm
like you
giving
said,
you the
both
scientific
like a
perspective
double
of it.
sworded question, you know, 'cause I wanted to get KT perspective as well, like on what he can give on the science perspective on like the brain and how I watch a lot of videos, man.
No, I'm
like,
saying
but
what I'm imparting to you is a metaphysical / scientific perspective on it. I'm trying to explain to you how to program your reality, especially when you're dealing with the modalities of spirituality. You know, the ultimate, the epoch of your overstanding, your enlightenment is that you're speaking to yourself, that you're seeking to want to talk to yourself. All of these people are just you at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So the closer that you come into contact with your own self, you know what I'm saying, your own journey, why are you here? What are you looking for? You're going to start mirroring that in the things that you attract and the people that you meet. So once you get like totally solidified in that understanding, going out and speaking to somebody else is going to be nothing for you, because you're going to really understand that you're ultimately speaking to yourself, or that part of you that you've magnetized to what it is that you understand about yourself. But KT, if you got anything else.
Well, I know if you're doing any of those spiritual systems, you're burning candles, right?
say that again.
I said if you're practicing any of those spiritual systems, you were just telling us you've been burning candles, right?
Yeah, I got an altar I just set up in my room, and I did the little compass. I had to make sure that it was set up in the right, section of my house. I was trying to make sure, but like, my intent behind it, I was always in the mindset of like my intent behind it. I'm always like, okay, wherever it is in my house, like I know what I'm willing. So, I'm not trying to like, disrespect of. I listen to a lot of Bobby Hemmett too, so he give me game on like how, I am this, I am that. So like I try to think of it that way. So like I burn the candles or whatever, and I'm doing that. But it's still
what I wanted to expound on particularly was the candle, and that you really understand what the candle stand for. Because sometimes when we get involved in a lot of these systems, it's a lot of different stuff, and we don't really take in what each part of it stands for. Because if we really did, then we would have a better understanding of what we're doing. So the candle,
right.
Think about the candle. Okay, a candle is made of wax and has a wick, and you light it, right? Now, as this wick is lit, it starts to burn, and as it burns, it slowly starts to melt the wax away. The wax represents you, and it represents your thought that you want to coalesce, that you want to come into existence. That's why you always have intent before you light a candle, So these things that you're asking us, and these things that you want to get a better understanding of, like that needs to be involved when you light these candles and really understand what these candles stand for. As you light it and it burns through that wax, when the candle is done, that means that your intent is set, and it's set in wax. It's like set in stone. You see what I mean?
Thank you for the call, brother, but we got to move on. I appreciate the call, brother.
All
right, peace. Once again, family, I'm sure. Yeah, we getting everything together. I appreciate the support, 2 a.m, trying to get everything down pat with all this technology. Welcome to the show. You got a question?
Yes, I do have a question. Shout out from Miami. I have my daughter. She's 4 years old, and she has multicystic kidney disease. So I was wondering, like something like this EMP or something will happen. How would I be able to go about doing dialysis without the machine or any other type of way to get that done?
Yeah, that's a very good question, brother. That's what I was just talking about with the Faraday cage. If I were you, I would look into Faraday cage, FARADAY CAGE. This is a device that you can build at home. There's one that you can build with a trash can and cardboard. It depends on how big the device is and things like that, but you can build Faraday cages for appliances and other electronic devices to protect against an EMP. So I would suggest you look into that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the call,
Thank
brother.
you.
Yeah, man. Shout out to KT, man. Y'all make sure y'all hit this brother up, man.
I'll be at the lecture tomorrow. Come see me at St. Francis College. I will be there.
Yes.
My event, go to USA Livestream.com so you can get some tickets for 11/11, where I will be doing Thor Ragnarok.
That's right.
Coded.
Welcome to the show, family. You got a question?
Greetings. Hi, my name is Masood Biddy, and I have two questions for KT Archery.
Peace, brother.
Is this
What's going
Go
on?
ahead, brother. Go ahead.
okay? Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
You got an echo in the back. You got
KT,
something?
Yes.
One of my questions is, how important were dreams to the
Brother, can you turn that
Commission?
TV down in the back? Can you turn whatever you got on down so we can hear your question clearly?
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, my two questions are, one, KT's decode on Arrival. He was talking about those octopods or those octopus, and I was seeing them again in Stranger Things. I was wondering what the importance of those were.
Cthulhu.
And my second question is, what is the importance of dreams in Kemet as well? Those are my two questions.
You said dreams in Kemet?
Yes.
Dreams in Kemet. Well, the answer to the first question is Cthulhu, Chuthlu, which is I don't want to say deity, but an energy, an archetype from antiquity that represented a squid-headed, octopus-headed, anthropomorphic figure. It's usually used in a lot of demonic, symbolism, but it really just deals with higher brain functioning because of squid and octopus, like their neurology is just like extraterrestrial. But Cthulhu is that. In terms of what was the necessity of dreams in Kemet, I can't say that I know for a fact, but based on what I know now, like they utilize their dream state properly at the same way they use their day state. Like we waste our dreams. If we were lucid dreaming more, then we would get a lot more work done when we were in our dream state. And then when we would come back to this world, we would be a lot more prepared. So I think that they were constantly, that might have been the underworld that they was talking about all the time. Amenta was dreaming, you know what I'm saying? Like them getting work done, in the afterlife, But like I said, that's just how I personally feel. I don't know for sure. But hopefully I was able to answer.
For that liquid gold for your lucid dreaming, SoGoBiz.com. SOLEGOLDBIZ.com. Get you some liquid gold.
Thank you for the call,
Peace,
brother.
love, and light.
Peace, family. You got a question for Blue and KT?
Yes.
Go ahead, sis.
Okay. Hi. I wanted to ask a question with reference to what you had spoke about earlier, with what we see in terms of the sun and how that's kind of filtered out through our eyes. What I kind of took from that is that the images that we see is sort of filtered out by the amount of the sun rays. So my question to you is, being that you were talking about food and meditation and how the brain works in conjunction to the physical body, what extent do you feel that the limbic system has on the retinal capacity to filter out particular rays of sun
So you're talking about
that
emotion.
would cause us to see a particular image. Like, do our, like, for example, like emotions come from the limbic system.
Emotions, yeah. No, I
Does
got
that
you.
have an impact on our retinal capacity and the amount of sun that we
no.
see? And does it distort, or how does that
It
manipulate the
affects.
images that we see?
Great question.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Great question. Great question. So, what separates us from like dogs and other animals, and even like gorillas, is the fact that we got something called a frontal lobe, and our frontal lobe is really a nose. It's really a nose, because if you look at dogs and all these animals, they use their sense of smell to detect a great deal of things. They can sense danger through smelling and everything. Well, it also enables animals to just react, you know what I'm saying, to certain things. Like, they have no filter. Our frontal lobe allows us to filter so that we don't just react and just jump off certain things. So yes, our frontal lobe ends up filtering the certain things that we see in respect to the limbic system, because the limbic system, just like you stated, I just mentioned a moment ago, deals with emotion. And if your body knows you're going to go through an emotional event, an emotional trauma that could be devastating to your psychology and your system, it'll filter it. So you'll see what you want to see. Like, there's a lot of things that we do not notice when we're walking down the street. You know, matter of fact, you could be looking for the soup spoon in the kitchen and look at it 3 times and it's not there, and then it's there. And that's because of this filtering mechanism in our frontal lobe in respect to the limbic brain, our emotional center. So yeah, emotions can affect what we see, because I don't know how many situations people are in where they choose to not see certain things, and then all of a sudden, there it is in their face, you know?
Indeed. Peace, family. Do you got a question for KT and Blue Pill?
Yes, I do. Hello, how are you guys doing?
Peace.
Excellent.
Hello, I'm calling. I guess I'm going to be off topic, but I know KT is a herbalist and holistic, and I'm calling to get information on pancreatic cancer. I am in dire need of information on the cure for pancreatic cancer.
Well, there's not no like one cure for pancreatic cancer. It's cancer, and in cancers in different parts of the body. What you would have to do is contact me at lovegreenlife@gmail. Perhaps we could set a consultation up so I could get further info, because I'll take everybody's time if I start going into cancer right now. But it is definitely a light disease, not by weight, but by like light, you know. But it's lovegreenlife@gmail.com. That's LUVGREENLIFE@gmail.com. Love Green Life. LUVGREENLIFE@gmail. Just send me an inquiry by way of email, and then we could set a consultation up so I could get more background.
All right, thanks for the call, sis.
Thank you, sis.
Peace, family. Do you got a question for KT and Blue Pill?
Hey, yeah. I was just wondering, what is both of your opinions on swirling?
What?
On what? On what?
Swirling.
Say that. Did I hear that right? I might. Can I get an audience definition of what swirling means, or am I gonna assume what that means right now?
He wants you to help him not feel guilty about being with them white girls. That's what it
Well, I just answered like the last 5, so I'm gonna give this over to Blue.
Blue, help the brother not feel guilty, Blue.
Wait, he has to define what the definition is. I can't make an assumption, right?
Yeah. You got to define it, brother. Can you tell us what swirling means?
I mean, you want me to go into details? Like, what are you asking?
No, not detailed.
Give us a very,
a brief, definition.
Description.
Yeah, just so we know we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, just general idea on interracial dating.
Okay. There you go.
Right.
Thank you, brother. Go ahead, Blue.
No problem.
Come on, man.
there are a lot of variables at play, especially, you know what I'm saying, currently in these modern days that I speak to a lot of sisters and they, for whatever reason, they say, look, I want to date outside of my race because of this. I hear the same thing from brothers, you know what I'm saying, who have their own hang-ups about, you know, sisters and what have you, and they choose to explore outside of their race, you know. My feelings or opinions on it, idealistically, I would want to see, you know, people of their own ethnic stock getting to know one another or being available or being there for one another. But we live in a very multicultural society. We live in a society where we've been acculturated to explore and appreciate one another's culture, and there's a lot of intermingling and intertwining that goes along with that. So I'm not thrown off by what I see. I understand that there's a dynamic at play, you know. Whether I approve of it or not, again, my own personal opinion shouldn't affect how anybody else lives their lives. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Thanks for the question, brother. We're going to move on. Peace, family. Welcome to the show. Do you have a question for KT and Blue Pill?
Oh, yeah, peace, brothers. My name is Daniel. I'm calling all the way from Finland, and I got a question for you guys. It's more like an opinion. You know how there's levels to everything, right? And it seems that there seems to be like this this level of awareness that seems to be lacking for our people, you know, not just black people that's indigenous to the United States, but black people all over the world. So I wanted to ask, like, do you think that since there have been a lot of people like black people who have been have a level of understanding, you know, to bring us all together, to unite us, and most of these brothers have been married to white women, you know. So if these brothers have been have had the ability to see things that we haven't been able to see, you know what I'm saying? Could it be the fact that marrying someone outside of your race gives you ability to see this like level of understanding that is considered a gray area? My question is, do you think that because of the fact that that's a taboo in this community, I guess you would call it a community, do you think that that's one of the reasons that we can't unite, you know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like a taboo topic.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't hear the question.
No, I think the brother just wanted to express it. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your commentary, brother. You want to elaborate on it?
I mean, it coincides with the question that was just asked earlier, and we can't neglect or negate the fact that, yes, some of our more advanced thinkers have swirled. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know whether that is experimental on their behalf to say, I have to go into this other part of the quote-unquote world to extract whatever information that I need to have a different world perspective to come back and, you know what I'm saying, address my people in this particular way or from this particular angle that hasn't been expressed. Because if you're not, quote unquote, you know, if you're not going over into that aspect, how can you really know what's going on over there? You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You stated an opinion, and as an observer, I can say I see your observation. I see where you were going with your opinion.
Thank you, brother. Peace, family. Do you got a question for Blue Pill and KT?
Yeah, I do. So basically, I got a question on death. Death, and I want to just get both of y'all breakdown on like when we're passing, what we're needing to do in like our state of consciousness when we leave, to understand like what we're grabbing for when we're going to the next planet, the next dimension, the next, you know, reincarnation, or, you know, when we go to that next realm, like when we go to that next step, what are we doing? what are we needing to know? Like, you know, we read the Book of the Dead, or like we hear the audio of it and we trying to break that down, but like, you know, that guru ain't gonna always be beside us, you know. So like, when we being our own teacher, what we gotta see for ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because I share the same condition as most people I know, I don't remember what I was on before I got here, and I haven't experienced firsthand what happens after this. Through me collecting, you know, information over the years, what I know is that death is just a period in between two lives. It's kind of like a threshold. Like you've experienced death in your life, where you've transcended from a state that you thought you were going to be in forever to a state where you never knew you was going to be able to accomplish. It wasn't an easy feat. It was very difficult. You didn't know how you were going to do it, and when it went down, it was like, you know, it was hard. It took your breath away. And I believe that death is a similar thing, where you end up entering into another place where there's going to be different rules than here. You're going to gain some memory, and based upon your actions, your observations, and your intent while you were here will dictate how you move, you know, as you continue through your path. You know, so to sum it up, like, you know, take care of yourself, because just because you're not taking your body with you doesn't mean not taking care of your body ain't going to be a karmic responsibility that you're going to have to take with you.
Right. So do you think astral projection maybe, or like the dreams that we have, like when we trying to see things, like, do you think that actually shows us exactly what we need to do in our past?
That's, dreams are you. That is something, I mean, you could definitely get influenced by other energies, you know, and circumstance, but that's a communication device that your body uses, you know? So most definitely you need to pay attention to your dreams. You have your spiritual practices where you deal with your spiritual body, your emotional self, your mental self, your physical self. You know, you take care of all those aspects because, it all matters in the end. And you'll start getting, like, the more in tune you are with yourself, the more visions you'll get, the more heads up you'll get, you'll know what to do. You know, because remember, all the answers are inside. You're not going to find nothing outside of you. Right.
Thanks for the call, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace.
What KT said.
Peace, family. You got a question for Blue and KT?
Yes. I called earlier.
What you said,
I was.
sis?
I'm sorry?
Called earlier.
Oh, you called earlier.
The limbic brain.
Yes, I called earlier. I was asking about the retinal capacity.
Yes.
With reference to the big system. I have another question, though, and I'm really appreciative that I've been able to get through again, being that the phone just seems like really, really busy. But I do have a question that I would like to pose to the two of you. With reference to earlier in October, they have what is referred to as Columbus Day.
Yes.
There's many, many indigenous people on that day who protest a lot of, who protest for many, many different reasons.
Right.
I'm going to put it lightly.
Sis, you gotta get to the question, sis.
So there's been so many rallies throughout different states for having that change to Indigenous Day type of something along those lines. My question to the two of you is, being on particular platforms, and I've heard several people refer to themselves on this platform as indigenous. Right. I've heard other people refer to themselves as indigenous on other platforms. My question is, where were those indigenous people when there are rallies and protests for indigenous people here? And if they were there, Why was that not displayed on platforms like this?
You're saying for the people
I hear,
that
I think there was a controversy recently with what Waka Flocka was saying about him not being black and him identifying himself as indigenous.
So you
And
would want to know why
I'm
Waka Flocka
with particularly the things that were said. And I watched it. And honestly, I got a little bit bugged, and I did stop it because there's certain sentiments that I hear behind that. And as an indigenous woman myself, it is a bit concerning that there are particular things that are put out there. And it's not really counteracted by indigenous people from here.
Go ahead, Blue. Let Blue answer that. Go ahead, Blue.
Maybe that's a bit, that kind of.
I'm sorry, sis, but we can't. I tried to cut you off 4 times. It's 2:30 in the morning. We gotta allow other people to call in and Blue to chime in. Blue, go ahead, chime in on that.
Again, I was about to ask her, was she asking me why Waka Flocka is not present at rallies and protests about Christopher Columbus? I think that in particular for the people who are identifying themselves in this spectrum as indigenous, it's such an uphill battle for that claim, because it's a claim, for even it to even be recognized amongst their own brethren and outside of that circle amongst those who have been designated as indigenous in this particular country, that, the next phase of things is so far ahead. You know what I'm saying? Being take down this statue, or we don't like this, or we don't like that. We're asking our family to say, go into, the treasure trove in the dustbin and brush off the record.
We don't even believe we indigenous.
We don't even believe we're indigenous. You know what I'm saying?
African American.
So we're definitely not being recognized as such by those who have been recognized as indigenous. You know what I'm saying? But I do know, Red Pill has spoken repeatedly about Christopher Columbus. You know what I'm saying? And our protest and our rally has been on these platforms as opposed to being on the front line and marching. You know what I'm saying? For them to tear down
waking people up.
Christopher Columbus'
Waking the
statue, we have to tear down his statue in the minds of our people. And that's where we've been at. Thank you.
Indeed, great answer. We're going to take a few more calls. It's technically, well, it would have been 3:30 right now. It would have been 3:33 right now, but it's 2:33 because the time went back an hour.
That's Columbus and them telling you that it's 2:30. You understand?
The Colombian calendar.
The indigenous time has always and will always be 3:30, brother. Don't fall for when the sun and the moon flatly. Nah, let me stop.
All right, we're going to take a few more calls, family. We about to wrap it up soon.
Columbus time, you telling me.
Peace, welcome to the show. Do you have a question for Blue and KT?
Yeah, I do. Y'all was joking about the time. This is Isaac. I'm from Orlando, Florida. I watch y'all all the time. I want to get that name pill that you gave me. That I need to go ahead and start to check out and link up with the community because I'm really trying to be.
Tahir RBG, TAHIR. This is all repeated callers calling back. This is round 2 calls.
Yeah. All right, brother. We're going to get into some fresh callers, but I appreciate.
Tahir RBG family.
You got it? All right. Brother got it. Peace, family. You got a question for Blue and KT?
Oh, wow. Thank you. I really
Greetings.
enjoyed your show, calling from Houston, Texas. I had just a couple questions, please.
One question, sis. One question. We only taking a few more.
What oil did you reference taking 2.5 drops to satisfy the ALA stores for brain development? What oil was that?
Yeah, it's a oil that I'm carrying now called Perilla oil. If you're interested, just email me at lovegreenlife@gmail, LUVGREENLIFE@gmail.com. That's LUVGREENLIFE@gmail.com. I can give you the information on it. If you're in the New York area, I'll be at the Valentine lecture tomorrow with some of it. Oh, she said she was in Houston. I'm sorry. Well, if you're in Houston, I can definitely send some down to you because I'll be in Dallas next week. So just send an inquiry to that email, and I'll get you the information and get the oil to you.
Okay, I just didn't hear what type of oil that was.
Yeah,
and
you're not gonna know about it because it's something that I ain't gonna say I discovered, but it was a lot of research unearthing it. So that's why I'm saying reach out to me. That way we can talk about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will do.
All right.
All right, family. Once again, the calling number. Let me check here. We're gonna take about 2 more calls. 718-865-8514. If you want to talk to KT and Blue Pill. A lot of health advice has been given out tonight, man. Shout out to these brothers for coming through and laying it down with the information, man. This is something.
Mind you, we got to be in the building in a few hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that creamy crack on deck. Heaven Seymour's will be in the building. Paranormal.
C3. I'm going
to have power pieces. I'm going to have actual mineral stones and rocks. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be dope.
I'm gonna have that worm cleanse for all of y'all.
Yeah, you're gonna have that parasite worm cleanse.
Yes.
Peace, family. You got a question for Blue and KT?
Yeah, I just wanted to wish love and light to y'all and appreciate what you do. I was listening to the callers, and I was like, y'all are here doing your magic, doing this little live stream at the time change on the full moon and shit. I was like, they in there working on it, cooking it up. But I just appreciate the energy and the love tonight, and just wanted to call in.
Appreciate that.
My question for KT would be, I've been working on changing my diet and trying to stick to the vegetarian for now, not quite vegan. But I know I need to gain more information. Are there like some books or somewhere you would recommend that I can start?
Yes, you probably need a good meal plan. There's a few things I can offer. I'll give you the email like I gave everybody else. Just send your inquiry to my email, luvreenlife@gmail.com. That's luvreenlife@gmail.com. And I can answer your question.
Is there a favorite book you would recommend to the sister that you got on him?
A favorite book? You know, Sabi don't read no books. Nah. Nah, I'm just playing.
Okay.
Nah, but
I guess I'll do my little candle magic then.
Nah, what I would say, if I can give you a book, it depends on what the topic is, I guess. What is it you're looking for the most?
I mean, I guess like things to cook with. I'm trying to cook more for myself. Like,
okay.
You know,
Things
cooking
to
best.
cook
I live
with.
in California, so I'm in an arid environment, and it's wintertime. Like, we still get winter out here.
I don't know the name of the book offhand, but any book that deals with the art of spices. And there's a lot of good books on that. If you go to Barnes and Nobles, you go on Amazon, just the art of spices, like any book that deals with that, because that's the game. You can pull any fruit and vegetable out of that fridge, but if your spice game is on point, you're going to have a good time. That's what it's all about, them spices.
Okay.
Thanks for the call, sis.
All right, thanks, brother. When y'all coming to the Bay Area?
We working on that.
We definitely working on that.
Appreciate you, though.
Shout out to the Bay Area. They always showing love.
Actually, I'll be out there for the new year. I'll be out there for the right at the top of the year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Welcome to the show. Do you got a question for KT and Blue Pill?
Yes, I do. I just wanted to say thank you for turning around that energy that was put out there on the EMP. I'm really grateful for the show.
Thank you.
In regards to, excuse me, us being the EMP, do you think that now they've been looking for weapons for the fifth dimension, and this EMP thing got me thinking, you know, yes, they are testing us, but I was thinking they're more like testing the conscious community the level of consciousness or the waves on that dimension. What do you think?
You meaning, was that just thrown out there just to see how we would react and what information we'll put around based on it?
Yes, to actually get a wave measurement, an actual scientific measurement on the conscious community.
Well, yeah.
That was the point.
It's all a litmus test, right? It's all algorithm. It's all algorithm. You know, if you're able to get the wave function of any group of people, you can create an algorithm, and then you can just sit back and watch things unfold. So
yes, and especially with it originating on Facebook, you know, like I said, my experience with it, I was getting inboxed by people who I normally don't get inboxed by. I was getting inboxed by people who was not, you know, who are not typically part of the quote unquote conscious community, and all of the typical conscious community inboxers were inboxing me. So if they wanted to do a test run on the, you know, on the conscious analytics, the conscious input, you know, this particular experiment would definitely be one that they draw information from. And it's continuous.
Yeah,
It's up there. So, you know, they can do it whenever they want. And there's been a lot of, you know, testing and prodding of the community as of lately. So I definitely think that, you know, and this was something that was tied into Antifa.
Yeah.
You know, and Antifa is tying back into Blacktivists, and is tying back into BI. All of that stuff is really gauging the community right now. So yeah, that's some good insight. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, sis. We're gonna take one more question. Peace, family. Do you have a question for Blue Pill and KT?
Wow, I can't believe I got through.
Yeah, you did.
Lucky
Our
night.
sisters tonight. Yes, you did.
That full moon.
What's your question, sis?
Wow. Well, first I wanted to say thank you so much for having this live video tonight. I was just thinking, just like yesterday, like, I wish Rich would do another live video. So this is really on time. I also want to thank you for all the great videos that you've done. I'm a little nervous, so just bear with me here.
It's okay.
But I just wanted to, you know, say that your videos are really great, and I appreciate all the work that you do day in and day out, Rich. And, you know, this live bringing, you know, Blue and KT, but everybody else every day that you bring really reinforces why we should support you, because you know, really are taking the time and the effort to bring all this information. So everybody who's listening and getting all this great information, even if it's just passively, this is yet another reason why you should be supporting Rich. Even if it's just a couple bucks, you can do that. Okay?
Thank you. I'm about to hire you. Thanks, sis. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that I wanted to ask, but just one question. And also shout out to Blue and KT and Red. You guys are great and just a wealth of information. I listen to you guys' videos all the time. But I just really have one question. I'm going through a lot of development, personal, mental, emotional. There's a lot of battles, whether it be emotional, health, myself, my family I help take care of. I'm really coming into consciousness, and I'm trying to get a little bit more insight in a spiritual kind of way. And I'm connecting with some dreams and things like that. So I just wondered if you had any recommendations on maybe like an astrologist, but more African-centered spirituality type of astrologist.
You know, I'm always gonna go with the home team, so I would recommend that you reach out to Raku, you know, the cosmophysician. You know what I'm saying? He could give you a thorough in-depth analysis of where you're at, where you've been, and where you're going. You know what I mean? And not only for you, but your family as well. You know, this is somebody who I utilize and they have been effective, you know what I'm saying, every time. So, you know, there have been previous episodes on this channel with Raku.
Right.
One very recently, you know, I think it was last month, I believe. So I would recommend that you go and listen to that video because his contact information is within that video. I don't have it in front of me at this particular moment, but you know, if you on the social media sites, he's on Facebook under Raku.
Instagram.
He's on
too.
Instagram under Raku as well. And RAAHKU.
Let me give you his number, sis, because he gives out his number on the show,
he
so I'm
gives it
sure
out on
it's
the show.
fine.
This is public information. As long as you call him between the hours of 1 and 7.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a stickler for that. Just so make sure you
Stickler
call
for
him
time.
from 1 to 7. You got a pen, or you can write this down, sis?
Yeah, definitely. I can hear you better, Rich, than I can hear Blue and KT.
Okay.
So thank you.
Okay, yeah, the number is 516-881-6992.
Let me read that back. 516-881-6892.
No, 6992.
6992. Okay, great. Thank you so much, all three of you. I appreciate it. Do more live videos, Rich, please.
All right, sis.
You all have a good night.
All right, you
Peace.
too.
Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
All right, so that's it, family. We
Now,
wrap.
let me say this.
Go ahead.
Because I heard they was coming for me in the comments for the last video I did on Tyrese. I'm going to make myself available sometime next week, and we could do a live, because I told you I don't do the comment section. I don't do the back and forth and what have you. I don't do the Blacktivist section. You know, I don't want my comics to end up in the Senate hearing and what have you in a folder. So if you are a corporal being, call in, let yourself be known, and let me hear, you know, how I was caping for Tyrese or whatever the other arguments were. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, we could talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about it sometime next week live on there.
Y'all get a chance to go to blackpowerawards.com.
That's right.
Nominations. And vote for KT the Arts Degree, because I gave y'all some heat tonight. You know what I'm saying? Health and wellness category, KT the Arts Degree.
And nobody doing it like
blackpowerawards.com.
this brother right here.
Come
Not
on.
because he's my brother. I'm just saying I'm stepping outside of myself, and I'm just saying the young man right here, extraordinary genius. Okay, vote for the brother. All right, vote for Red Pill and Cambada. Made for this. You know what I'm saying? Epic triumphant song that jumped off right here on this channel. You know what I'm saying? It's home team, so you know, make sure that you
This is a record label too. They didn't know that. They didn't know this is a record
Make
label.
sure, you know, if you tired of your producers dancing in your videos and
come to Black
you know,
Magic.
Yeah. you
all in the camera.
If you tired of, you know, the YouTube hosts all in the cameras, debating and dancing in the cameras and all of that. Come to
That's how it's
go to
gonna
Black
be.
Magic 363, you know, but before you do that, go to the Black Power Awards, vote for KT the Arts Degree, vote for Red Pill and Cambada. You know what I'm saying? If you in the A, we're gonna see you down there that weekend.
November
If
17th
not,
through 19th.
make sure that you make your way up here to New York on November 19th. I might have to jump on a plane. Pissy. Right after the jump off and come right up here.
Yeah, Red
to
supposed
catch
to
Panic, you know what I'm saying?
Red's supposed to try to get on a plane to get up here.
You know what I mean? To see the brother Panic, you know what I mean, which is epic. It's a throwback to our years at LIU. You know what I mean? It feels like we're doing something right again. So, yeah, brother Panic, Black Lady Theater. Shout out to the family over there. Shout out to brother Rich, King Simon. All right, we'll see you in a few hours at St. Francis College, downtown Brooklyn. Dr. Reverend Phil Valentine, the triple OG, is back in the building.
That's right.
I might ain't even get no shut eye tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
I might
it's rap.
reset my clocks and just run up in that piece You know what I'm saying, with the creamy.
You got your crystals. I got my C3. We straight.
Straight. We in the
Straight
building.
good.
We in the building. I got that, we got that Born Day coming up real soon.
Oh man, the Scorpions.
You know, the Scorpion King
I had a
reloaded.
sign from the Scorpions today. I ain't gonna talk about it. The
You feel me? Brother Rich, he might debut one of my singles on the show.
Uh-oh.
You know?
Boy.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy.
It's coming, y'all. It's coming.
Look out for that vegan gene, y'all.
Yeah, that vegan gene is on its way.
And Ragnarok decoded.
Ragnarok
11/11.
decoded. That
USALivestream.com. I'm doing it straight cyber style for everybody. We going in a good 4 hours. I'm going to tear that movie to shreds and the stuff y'all going to walk away from.
That's right. And we are currently, last night or the 4th, because we're in the 5th now, I suppose. I don't know how they fluctuate this thing around here these days, but it was the last day of the 44th week, November 4th, on the full moon. Last Scorpion full moon was our birthday. That was the super moon on the 14th.
That's right, the 14th last year.
Yeah.
So yours last year and mine this year.
Yeah.
That's how it go.
That's how it go. That's how it go.
All right, family. Make
Peace,
sure.
love, and light. Blue Pillar 44 on IG. Blue Pillar 44 at Gmail. Shoot me any inquiries that you got. But for that man, you want to shoot his inquiries too.
KT the Arch Degree on YouTube, KT the Arch Degree Instagram, Kamani Tate on Facebook, lovegreenlife@gmail.com, and www.ktthearchdegree.com for the site.
Make sure y'all go hit up the Patreon, PayPal,
Yes.
show support.
Show some love.
And we're gonna see all
Black
gonna
magic.
We're gonna get a couple of hours of sleep. Then we're gonna go to this film lecture. We ain't even gonna have breakfast. How you say it? And we ain't even have breakfast yet.
Breakfast.
Hello. Can I get? How you say that? Well, shout out to Ralph Smart. I don't want to chop up his. I don't want to chop up his saying.
Nah, breakfast.
Yeah. Peace to the family. All right. We love you.
All right. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.